It takes so long to connect. Yo, what's up? We dancing, we partying, everybody's having a good time. It's all good. What's up, everybody? It's time to get crazy. It's Monday. We weren't here last week. We had a lot of stuff going on. The real world catches up with everybody. So we're doing it hard today. We're gonna do it hard on Wednesday. We're going in the paint. We're going hard in the paint. That's it. It's March Madness. Amazing April. We're going hard in the paint. It's celebration. Everybody's flying to England right now to get their celebration on. I think what was today first day? Was today first day panels or first day go?
I don't think it's until Thursday or Friday, actually, technically, but I'm sure that a lot of people were heading over there already to go, join in the early festivities, especially because it's London, you know what I mean? For a lot of us Americans, we're going to probably spend a little extra time over there if we're going all the way over across the pond, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's
a bunch of first timers.
Yeah, a bunch of first timers, bro. So, yeah, I think, we were going to go. We actually just had to cancel our hotel because we had a hotel booked. So we actually just canceled our hotel today, or we were going to get charged. And then we were both looking at each other like, if we get charged for the hotel, we're going. Like, I'll do the overnight. I'll go for one day. We'll high five at celebration, and then I'm getting on a plane, and you can correspond.
Twist my arm.
That's it. Twist my arm. Make me do it. So we were talking about it today. I know one of our compatriots was supposed to go, but he's not going anymore. I know Dan was talking about going, but he's not going anymore. So I know there are some. This works out for Meg. Meg's the only one who doesn't have to like commute, right? I mean, let's be real. Like Meg's like, oh, I just got to hop in the tube and then I'm there, right? So there are benefits for some of those. I hope Strike is going. I hope his crew is going.
I think they are.
Yeah, man. So
I heard actually a bunch of those guys are going and meeting up, and I'm hyped for them. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's what
some people are making some big trips, I think, too. So be safe out there.
Yeah.
Don't draw any unnecessary attention to yourselves late at night in random places. Yeah. London. I'm just saying, tourists.
Let me just say
y'all
this.
Gotta be careful sometimes too.
Let me just say this much. You can't do the shit we saw at ICCC last year in London. That shit will not fly. Your Americanness will not go over well over there. I'm just saying, calling a spade. So everybody go be careful and have a good time.
Keep it
nerdy. We're going to, let's see. Is he ready? Fuck it. We're doing it. We're shipping him. Hey, what up, guy?
Couldn't find a Yukon hat, so I went with the Whalers because
hey, dude,
win it tonight.
Come in here with a Yukon hat. I'm gonna put some Q stuff on.
All I'm saying is, like, I watched all those teams here in Vegas. So I watched SDSU live from the Thomas and Mack during Mountain West get their entry, and then I watched Yukon whoop that ass here in Vegas. So I'm just saying, maybe it's me. I'm good luck. Maybe they should take me to Final Four next time. Just saying. But yeah,
one game this year and UConn lost. And as a good fan, I stayed away. I didn't watch another game.
There you go.
Hey man, sometimes I guess lucky socks and dragon underwear are the way to go. Sometimes, that seems to be the consensus on the court in Houston. So yeah. But let's talk about some stuff before we get into Mando. Let's talk about Survivor. Let's talk about Survivor for just a minute. There's already people that are getting early access. They're getting about 21 days access, 3 full weeks. And what are we seeing online? We're seeing custom faces. We're seeing like you can go beard or mohawk or however you're
mullet
baby.
Your thing.
Go the mullet.
So it's
handlebar mustache.
So the complaint that they pushed 6 weeks. I mean, if these are the kind of things that they're polishing, then I'm about it, right? I mean, 6 weeks is nothing. It's not like other games that are like, oh, we're off till next year. So, I mean, the imaging looks awesome. The fact that you're fighting a Rancor is very Return of the Jedi, right? I mean,
go to sleep.
Exactly.
sleep. So yeah, man, it's just I feel like this game is ready for just the gauntlet because these streamers and fans are ruthless these days. It doesn't matter what it is. And so I feel like this game is going to hit on all cylinders, and this game is going to be, I mean, is it going to be as good as the first one? Chat, get in there. Is it going to be as good as the first one? Is it going to, not? Is it going to fall flat? I mean, based on what I've seen, everything looks pretty hypey.
I think it'll be
and
even better. Go, Scott.
I don't even care about the gameplay, bro. The story looks ridiculous, and it looks like it's gonna close a bunch of gaps between all the eras. Like, I think they're doing big things with this story. I hope. I heard, like, not to go too deep into like the
huge.
Yeah, and I heard something about an anomaly. They didn't really go into too much, but the people who are in the know today on making Star Wars, there's some like anomalous thing that's gonna happen in the game. Yeah. So.
Well, I mean, look, I blew somebody's mind hole this week when I was like, "Oh, you didn't see the High Republic or crest on the cloak in the last trailer?" And he's like, "Wait, what?" I was like, "Yeah, dude, go back and look at it." And it's very, because he was reading the High Republic. He was in the middle of reading one of the High Republic books, and I'm like, "Oh, pay attention."
Yeah.
Pay attention. You might recognize some names come Survivor. And he's like, "No, get out of here." And I'm like, "Bro, the new villain in Survivor is a High Republic dude." And he was like,
"Yeah,
what?" Like, it doesn't click for the Muggles, right?
I hope they name him in the game eventually. I'm sure they will.
I'm sure. I wonder if he's a mentioned character in.
Me too.
In the High Republic books is my question. Is he has been in a back to tank for a millennia, damaged his skin? Is he really not purple? Is that part of the back to, too long in the back to tank? And really he's,
does he have brown hair? Like, we don't know.
That's what
it's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. So is he already a mentioned character that had short hair and was maybe a very powerful Jedi in their order, but not necessarily a high ranking guy at the time? And so that's
I will say, if there was even an inkling of a hint at who it could be, the High Republic fans would probably have it narrowed down by now. So the fact that nobody's really onto it is another thing that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because the books are very detailed.
Well, and we don't know where, we don't know where this character comes from, right? We don't know if he was a villain, if he was a good guy. Like, we don't really know. You get imprisoned by your friends, you're going to be pissed too. I'm just saying, right? Like, if your friends imprison you, it's probably going to be, you're probably going to be mad also. So, yeah, the game looks dope. I can't wait. We're about 3 weeks away. It's going to be fun.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I am too.
I can't. I'm going to lose a weekend at least of my life in the game.
Probably more, to be honest. I've seen, like, I can't stress enough, this game really does look like it is freaking huge. Like, it's compounding on top of what the last one kind of established in its first game. They're kind of jumping right from the get-go, where Cal isn't like forgetting any of his Force abilities, or having to relearn anything. And it's kind of jumping straight into it, where it's gonna, have all this customization to your point. And I think it looks so cool, man. It's gonna be a fun time.
Well, and that's just it, is that you're not, you have all your Force abilities. My question is, are Zepho, Bogano, Dathomir, are all of these places still accessible in the game, right? So I'm very curious to see where they go as far as where you can go and how much more open world is it. I mean, you just saw the Hogwarts Legacy game come out and show how expansive of an open world you can really get. So I feel like they have to come back and they have to they have to come out with something equally as badass, because Hogwarts Legacy looks like it could be the best game of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, right now. I will say that Stanley said it's 4 hours plus on just the first planet, and from what I've heard from people that have got the, first 3-4 hours, like most of it is on one planet, you know what I mean? And then they finally leave towards the end of that. So, a lot of this game is gonna be like pretty big, you know what I mean? I think it's gonna be a lot bigger than the last one, hopefully close to what we see with Hogwarts. I don't know if we'll get quite that big of an expansion compared to it, but Hogwarts was kind of a passion project for the people that worked on that. So, the fact that they can even go as expansive as they can these days with all these open world games, and Ubisoft, I think, might even have a game that they're working on with Star Wars too.
Still.
And maybe we'll get even a look at that at Celebration this weekend. Like, that would be pretty freaking cool. So
Well,
I'm excited to see how big it is. But
I've been saying it for a while.
I just saw something on that.
The people at Lucasfilm Games need to go start recruiting from Portkey. The people over at Portkey Games have some shit really ironed out. They have really got some things ironed out, and if you're looking for that open world feel, I mean, those guys are crushing it. Just crushing it. That game is insane.
yeah.
So, I mean, it's a trip. It's definitely, Survivor, I think, is definitely the thing that most of us are anticipating it to be. And, it's going to come at the right time, because we're just going to be finishing Mando.
Yeah.
So they're giving us like, oh, here's some more content to fill you up until Ahsoka comes out.
Yeah.
So, and then I've been hearing rumors that we could get an Ahsoka trailer coming out this week, potentially. Disney Plus doesn't do commercials, but will it be on Disney Plus after at some point? Is it going to be a YouTube only? Is it going to be a celebration only, much like you got to go and check out some things early? Is it going to be like that? So I'm very curious if the celebration folks are going to get first access, or what the scoop is.
Yeah, I will say, based on kind of the celebration schedule for this weekend, they are doing their annual Lucasfilm showcase, which is probably going to, establish the main stuff they're talking about, whether it's Mandalorian season 4 potentially, maybe even teasing out what's to come for the last couple episodes here. Probably, teasing Ahsoka, since that is the next big upcoming show, maybe even Skeleton Crew. That'll be the kind of big entrance to, celebration like it is every year. And I'm excited to see maybe anything that potentially comes out of that. But I do expect a lot of the, initial trailers or teases that they maybe show will be kept kind of celebration exclusive. But I do think we could get an Ahsoka trailer, maybe a tease for Bad Batch season 3 potentially, because I think even that could come out in 2024. Don't expect too much though, and the more we do get, the better.
Well, and
As always.
let's get into a little bit of Bad Batch, right? So I feel like all these, Dave and John, it's funny. I read an article. I can't find it right now because I closed it like a dummy. But I found an article where Favreau was talking about how upper management Disney isn't involved in anything, and they're not micromanaging him at all. His story is his story, and he's doing what he wants to do. And that this constant gripe that
Kathleen Kennedy is ruining everything. She's got her hands in every single project, and she's ruining it.
Not too much longer.
I mean, she's not. I mean, she's the CEO, man. She's not a producer no more. If she's on set and she's hanging out, she's doing stuff. But let's talk about Bad Batch for a minute. They killed somebody, right? I mean, if you didn't watch allegedly, but I mean,
You say.
no one's ever really gone. But as far as we know, we watched somebody fall to their demise in this last episode of Bad Batch, and Dave Filoni knows how to finish a season. Like, he knows how to bait you for the next one. He's just a fantastic fisherman. Because I was like, well, where are we gonna go? Like, how are they gonna finish this season? And then you see what happens, and then he drops another question on you. It's not just, oh, Omega got captured, you know, we're gonna get her back. It's bobbity bob, crosshair, whoop whoop. No, then you're like, I am your sister. Right? And it's like,
Exactly.
wait, what? Right? And but look, and I'm gonna shit on the Matt Cave for just a second. I hope you guys don't hate me for this. The Matt Cave, and we were playing games last night. We were hanging around and we were playing some Fortnite, and we were talking a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And he goes, oh yeah, the actress that played the Omega sister was the same voice actress as the one who plays Omega. And he's like, oh, I noticed that season 1 when we first saw her in the credits. And I'm like, why didn't you say anything? Why am I hearing this now? You know how many videos we could have made about this? The boomerang burn on this one would have been amazing. Everybody would have been like, you guys are stupid. I can't believe you're this dumb. Look at these shill motherfuckers. But no. We could have boomerang burned that shit and come back and done my favorite thing and said, I told you so, motherfuckers. But no. Matt Cave kept this one to himself. God damn it, my guy.
We were on the verge of greatness.
Bro, we could have been somebody. We could have been contenders.
Oh, this finale of the Bad Batch had me so depressed. Like, I couldn't even make it through the whole stream with Santa and Sheev talking about it. All right, let's just move on. I can't do this anymore.
But
yep.
Straight up, I was like,
did it not have an Empire Strikes Back ending feeling to it, though? Did you not feel the same way at the end of Empire that you felt at the end of this season of the Bad Batch? Because I
probably felt more hopeless.
Right, but I feel like, let's say they only do 3 seasons of the Bad Batch, right? This is the Empire Strikes Back season of the 3. And I felt at the end of the first one, there was a lot of hope, right? Yeah, things were not great, but there was, like, the crew was together, and although the Kaminoans were like completely dead, but
Omega's a new hope.
Omega's like,
the whole city at the end of the first season.
Genocide and all that. Genocide aside, right? It was a pretty happy tone. But mainly for the crew of the Bad Batch, right?
Left me hopeful at the end.
They left Crosshair for dead. I mean, that aside, also they basically like abandoned him. That aside. But the Bad Batch, nobody died. Everybody made it. They're taking off and they live to fight another day. This one was like, Tech is dead. Omega's got a big sister. Crosshair's out cold, becoming a dark trooper. We're gonna get it back. I don't know how the fuck we're gonna get it back. We don't know where the fuck she is, but we're gonna get it back, right? Like, this is very, we're going after Han Solo. We're planning a new plan. Like, Luke's got a plan. What? Luke's got a plan? That's how this felt. It felt very end of Empire.
They don't got a Jedi.
I mean,
call Gunji. You know what I mean? Like,
it just seems like this had that very Dave has fun way of
nice
getting you ready.
Omega's missing.
Wow, she's on her own. Yeah, I finished the episode and I was like, man, he knows how to end it. He knows how to end a season. He knows how to make you go, damn it. Now I gotta wait for the 3rd season. Like,
or Jason Ward's Gunji pops up. Woo.
Just telling you, man. Let's see. So Anthony, we're going all crazy today. Let's see. So
she said
an assumed name, or does she use her mother's last name? That's got to be around 22 or 30 years old. It seems like she's a secret kid Django never knew about. Boba's sibling now. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we were talking about last night, is where does she fit in if she's not a clone? is she a legitimate daughter to Jango Fett? And if that is the case, isn't she more coveted than Omega? Isn't an original more better to copy than a copy, right? I mean, she's got that good genetics. You know what I
Nah,
mean?
man, Omega's enhanced somehow. We just don't know yet.
Oh, well,
She's more sensitive.
I've always said it. I think the guys were made from her.
Well, so I mean, we were kind of having a discussion about this the other day, Obsession, but you know, you were saying you thought that maybe she could be a phase 1 if she is, you know, a clone like that. She looks a little older. And she, you know, maybe if she wasn't age accelerated like Omega, then she would have had to been around for a long time. But I think she was age accelerated, which is why she is a little older. She's maybe even closer to like a phase 2 age is what I'm thinking.
Does the Empire know who she is? That's my question.
I think that is kind of an important question to ask right now, because we don't really have a concrete answer. We don't know too much about Wayland. They managed to show us a little bit of it this season and kind of what's going on, but also giving us like literally almost nothing of what's actually going on. You know what I mean? Getting us more intrigued with what's happening. And so now with her, like, I don't think there's any confirmation of the Empire knowing, but if they do find out, maybe they're not even going to need the Kaminoans, and maybe she even has knowledge being a medical assistant. And that's another thing. I think Omega could have been kind of a similar clone to her, where she was maybe just created to be a medical assistant for Nalase, and then
the other question
ended up getting
were
rescued by the Bad Batch.
Kaminoans experimenting with a female version of Jango to be medical officers, right? To be back, not soldiers, but the officials and the clergy, not the clergy, the clerical folks, right? If they were building this grand army for the Republic, were they thinking, well, wouldn't it be better to have the medical, be able to tell the difference between the soldiers and the medical and so on and so forth? So were they experimenting with that? And then she was a failed experiment. I mean, there's a lot of roads right now that we just don't know. So, I'm curious. There's a lot of speculation like this, where was she the first version of Omega? If Omega's the last and Boba's the alpha, well, there's a beta, there's a Charlie, there's a Delta, there's a whole bunch. Was she somewhere in those early phases with gross acceleration? Does Nalase know who she is, right? If they've had the conversations, does she know who she is? Or do the goggles, is it like Clark Kent in Superman, like the glasses make you invisible to who you really are, and then you just pop the glasses off and you're like, look, I'm Boba's kid or whatever, or Jango's kid. So
that's interesting. I never really thought about it that way, but maybe there is like a bunch of clones that they experimented on, and maybe even the process to getting to the perfect kind of Bad Batch. You know what I mean? Like, none of the Bad Batch members are really like defective by any means. Like, they're different from all the other clones, but they're almost enhanced. Like, you don't think there was maybe some trials along the way that were
for sure
a little bit like Clone 99, who was a little deformed? You know what I mean? Like, you don't think there was a lot more other projects and stuff like that leading to Omega and Clone Force 99?
Well, and I agree with this, Sabersmith, but at the same time, why were the Kaminoans so eager to get her back? You send Fennec Shand, you send all these other bounty hunters after her to acquire her. The Empire doesn't even know about her. Hemlock isn't even concerned about her. The Kaminoans want her back because she's intellectual property. What secret is she holding, right? I still think that there's more that we don't know, that Nalase knows, because she's the one who created her, basically. Like, she is the last of a line to get to this specimen that is Omega, right? Whether that's the ability to harness the Force gene, even if she's not Force sensitive, maybe she still holds the Force gene, and that's the piece of the puzzle that the Empire has been missing, that Nalase knows about, right? Like, there's so much that that's going to be explored. I mean, it's a really interesting twist that Dave threw in right at the end of this story. So
she's older than Boba by far, right?
yes, yeah, Boba's like 12 or 13 at this point.
So it seems like Django early on was like, I want an unaltered clone. And they showed him her, and he's like, I want a boy. And then...
I mean, she seems like what I like is she seems like she could be a not clone. She could be Django's daughter, like legit daughter.
New Zealand accent, you're a clone.
You didn't.
Well,
Star Wars works. You know?
She
You
looks a lot different than Omega, to your point.
She not really. Omega's just didn't get much sun. You know, she was trapped in a lab. She was a little lighter, but you know, we don't know where this girl got her tan. But
I mean, like Omega is the test tube baby, blonde hair, blue eyes, bro. Like she's the perfect specimen, and that's why I lean towards something in her blood. I'm not saying it's a metachlorian count.
But that's what I was saying.
I wonder if they'll go as far as like even us now in our own technology, we can hide information within DNA. I wonder if there's some kind of thing in her DNA that is going to unlock the way to splice genes.
Well, but that's what I was saying is it seems like if they were continuously experimenting with altering clones and she finally holds a secret, maybe not to have force abilities, but to just hold the force ability in her genetics, right? So like not necessarily be able to use it, but just to be able to bond it to her genetics, right? And I think that's the key that they're looking for, because
kind of like what we learned with Pershing in the Mandalorian.
Yeah, Pershing's like, look, I grabbed a little
bit that exact thing he was talking about.
I grabbed a little bit of this, and I grabbed a little bit of this, and I went, and I put it in the oven, and out came snow. Bing! Right? So
they're just looking for like the patient zero strain that is strong enough to handle being pulled apart and put back together like a Frankenstein's monster.
Right, but at the genetic level, not at the not at the cellular level, right? Because if you can do it with one cell, you can manipulate all cells, right? So really, if let's whatever the doctor's name is, I don't remember her name, but if the Omega sister, if Omega's sister was an early experiment and she is age altered, right? Like she's got age acceleration, then it would make sense that I would think they wouldn't have let her go.
Oh, I didn't know it still let me do it. I don't know, man. I don't see.
I'm really leaning towards like the more we talk about it, I'm really leaning towards the Kaminoans were tasked to create the perfect being.
That's it. Well, not necessarily even tasked, but they kind of saw what the writing on the wall, and they
or even themselves as a species, like they just think that their purpose is this. That their knowledge is based on this. This is what their purpose
at some point
to give to the galaxy.
They knew they were running out of Django. They were running out of Django. Django's dead. You could already see they talked about the sample being what's the word I'm looking for? The sample was degrading. The clones were not coming out as perfect as they once were. And this project might have been, how can we create a sample that is reproducible and get the desired effect as the original clone specimen? So, but I think they were experimenting for what Palpatine might want one day, because she knew, Nala Se knew as soon as Hemlock talked to her, well, the Emperor wants you on his special project. It can't be done. She already knows. She's like, it can't be done. We've been trying it for a decade. It can't be done. Right? So, but then did she do it in her private lab? Did the rest of the Kaminoans not really know that they had cracked the code and Omega is the key? So that's how it feels to
Only
me.
a few Kaminoans know the truth about
Prime Minister,
Omega and her purpose.
yeah, Prime Minister and Nala Se, and that's it. It seems like she was the guarded secret.
The other thing to know, like, I wonder if Emery Carr maybe even knew about her. Like, she had to have been on Camino and everything too, right? The doctor?
Probably before the Empire destroyed Camino, I would think so.
Yeah. So it just makes me wonder. She obviously knew that she was sisters with Omega, quote unquote. So, like, she had to have maybe known about her, or now that she knows of her, like, she's like, yo.
Well, here's what I like. Go ahead, finish.
I was going to say, it's actually Keisha, I hope I said that right, Keisha Castle Hughes, who does the voice for Dr. Emery Carr.
Well, and look, if this gives us an like I said, if she's not a clone, if she's not a direct clone like Omega, what a great segue to a Boba season 2, having a legit daughter of Jango Fett in the mix 20 years from now, right? In the story, you get to where Boba's out of the Sarlacc. Does she survive that long? Do we get a flashback? Like, could this give us a Jango Fett romantic interest? No. Could this give Jango being the father, not Boba? Reel it in.
Hey, Marvel went there.
We're not making out with your sister anymore, okay? They made that mistake in the 80s. We're not making out with our sister anymore, okay? So there's no father-daughter thing going on here. We're not doing that. So
if it's a clone, it's kind of like making out with yourself, right?
Right, but
which would be like Loki and Sylvie, but
Loki's cool. He gets down
right,
like that.
Right. But if this is a legitimate heir of Jango Fett, could we get a flashback to see who her mother is? Could we get a flashback to Jango walking away from what could have been a normal life to become the Imperial or the Republic's ultimate soldier?
An actual sister of Boba?
Right. Well, I mean, really, yeah, an actual sister to, an actual daughter of Jango, right? I mean, and that could lead, that's the thing that is the most interesting here is, could this lead us to a season 2 of Boba Fett? Could this be the Jango, the Jango part of Boba's story that we finally get to see?
I mean, technically, if it's Jango's daughter,
I was about to say,
and it's actually Boba's daughter, because he's a clone of Jango. So they're not his brother and sister.
Technically, yeah.
Technically, her father, because
this is some fucking, this is some, like, I don't want.
They wrote a song. It's called "I'm My Own Grandpa." I think if people listen to it, it would explain it pretty well.
I'm dead. Dead on the floor. I mean, look, yeah, okay, so yeah, Boba and Omega, that would be my daughter then. That would be their daughter, right? It wouldn't be I'm not your sister. I'm your daughter, but you're younger and I'm older, and I don't understand how this works.
Yeah. No, my mind is a little bit exploded after that one.
That's what Dave's great at. He's now given us an ending to this story that makes everybody go, what the fuck? Right? And then that everybody, now you want answers, right? Now you're gonna wait until the next season, and it doesn't feel like
How many of you are there? They just keep coming out of everywhere.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Multiplying like rabbits.
It seems like there's a lot of letters between Alpha and Omega, right? And so they didn't just go from Alpha to Omega, right? So it just seems like there's going to be more information about this project at the Emperor. And, like I said, we're already seeing more of it in Mando. The Pershing story showed us all of that in that episode. So, and it is like now, let's get into what we just saw, right? We'll go backwards. Fuck it, we'll go backwards.
Well, do we think? I have
We'll
a
do it
question.
live.
Real quick, do you think that Mando is going to backtrack and retread on any of this cloning stuff, or if it's just fully in Bad Batch now? Because I feel like Mando's moving on towards like more reestablishing Mandalore, potential Gideon, and potentially some other threat that I want to
I
bring
was
up.
gonna say I think it depends on what we get with Gideon, because I think Gideon's
Mhm.
probably coming either this week or next week. But
Well,
I think the Pershing episode was supposed to kind of be the tie-in with the DNA sequence that he talked
Mhm.
about. But what do you think, Obsession?
well, I mean, look, it's I feel like that buttoned up the cloning stuff. The Pershing arc buttoned up the cloning stuff because he accomplished what he needed to accomplish. Her wiping his brain and turning him into mush was an order to silence the scientist because they didn't want anybody else having the technology that he had broken. And we see at the end of this episode, spoiler alert, it's only been a week. We see that Moff Gideon didn't make it to trial, that his shuttle was the Lambda shuttle that was transporting him was attacked, and that Mandalorians were involved. Now, Moff Gideon wants to be a Mandalorian real bad,
I think he is.
right? He wants to be Mandalorian like
Mhm.
real bad. And we see at the end, Blue is in his X-Wing. Of course, it was Blue that found him, right? Blue's in his X-Wing. First of all, how dope was the probe off of his R7 droid?
That was
Right?
sick.
Like, that was rad. Watching an R7 get an upgrade to where his, telescoping camera, telescoping lens could actually come off and fly on its own and use it as a probe droid was pretty big.
Yeah.
I was really excited about that. I was like, that's so cool. But then we see a Mandalorian mine, one of their
Ingots or yeah.
one of their mine pucks, one of their grenades, so to speak. But I mean, they place them more like charges, right? They're more like sonic charge, or not sonic charge. They're more like grenades, I guess. But they stick them on stuff, so that's why I said mine. That's all I saw in there. Did you guys see anything else? Any helmet, any chest plate, any armor? I just saw the mine.
I saw the same thing you're talking about. It looked like a lot of wreckage, obviously, but my biggest question is who took Gideon or who broke him out, because obviously we saw the ingot of Beskar or whatever it was. But does that really mean that it was Mandalorians that were involved? I mean, at this time, it seems like the Empire has more of the Beskar, stockpile than anyone. I mean, the Mandalorians are kind of scraping by with, other materials being mixed in with their Beskar. So if anyone really has Beskar at this point, it is probably Moff Gideon and his Imperials. But, who knows? Maybe it was a different clan of Mandalorians who were like, yo, this guy blew up our homeworld and did all this terrible stuff. Like, he deserves to die. The New Republic's not going to give him the justice he deserves. And they kind of just take him on the way to his trial, basically, or his war tribunal, and they're going to give him the real justice that he deserves that the New Republic probably wouldn't.
So, if
those are
you
my two guesses.
Dive headfirst into this rabbit hole that I've created that may or may not be what's actually happening here. I'm seeing this as like a full-on journey towards crossing over to Ahsoka and bringing in the Rebels crew, because we just got Zeb. I think that's just the beginning. Santa's backed me up on the fact
I'm with you on this.
All right, let's say he does have allies that are Mandalorian, and he is an Imperial remnant. There is a good possibility there's an Imperial remnant still occupying part of Mandalore that doesn't want anybody else to occupy Mandalore, who is the Imperial remnant of the Imperial Mandalorians from Rebels.
Saxon's crew?
Potentially,
not necessarily
whatever's left of him, maybe.
Yeah, and this opens up the door to bringing in Sabine. this opens up the door to bringing in Hera, because we just saw a bar full of pilots who she's gonna be pounding.
I think
around
that's
with
who
them
Zeb
too.
went and talked to right away.
That's what I was about to say. Is like Dave
I-
Filoni was kind
Hold
of
on, hold on,
teasing it
hold on.
recently,
Let's,
but
let's pause for just a second.
okay.
Yeah, my heart's pumping.
Let's pause for
Mhm.
just a second. Okay,
So
since you guys want to go backwards, since I was like, oh, let's go backwards, and you guys are like, okay, let's go forward.
That's all I want to talk about.
Fuck it.
I want to talk about the Gideon escape too.
All right,
So
so-
before we move too far,
Let's talk. No music. Music's down. This is how important this fucking part is to me. Let's talk about this for a second. Everybody in the space, everybody in the space gives Star Wars an immense and the ILM crew an immense amount of shit for creature creation lately. Right? I heard it in the Pershing episode that the Mon Calamari didn't.
Calamari didn't look perfect and right. Oh my god. Like,
He wasn't fishy enough.
Right, they're not fishy enough, right? And where's their water? Where's some splashy water for their faces? Anyway, let's talk about this shit. How
That's why I'm here.
how much of a win is this? I was
so good.
frightened that they were gonna fuck it up. Really, I was like, how are they gonna get Zeb to be as good in live action as he was in animation?
They did
Right.
so good that my wife, who's only watched 3 episodes of Rebels so far, knew who it was.
I was
was like-
like, I mean, I figured that was Zeb when I saw him, but I was like, maybe they got some more Lasat involved since they got the homeworld and they're not all. No.
That's what I said right away. I was like, oh wow, that's really cool. I bet Zeb's gonna look dope. I was
Hey.
like, there's no way they're just gonna like drop him like
didn't-
that.
didn't
I
think
had
it was-
no idea.
For me, it was the outfit kind of threw me
For
off. I was
days.
like,
Until
oh, well, this
Twitter
is a different
corrected me.
Lasat. And then I heard his voice, and I'm like, no, that's it.
But that's just,
Oh,
and they
man.
brought the voice actor, the same voice actor that voices the character in Rebels,
Steve
voice
Mocap.
act this guy and the mocap.
I think he did the mocap too.
Yeah,
Yep.
he did.
I mean, come on, man.
Amazing.
I mean, come on, dude. Like,
Absolutely killed.
Mhm.
all right, hold on. Like, oh, that was a perfect one. Hold on.
Only thing missing is his rifle.
Okay.
His bow staff, yeah.
Okay. So, from this, right? I mean, it's pretty fucking balls on accurate. I can't.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing to go from this to that. I mean, that's
The way the Rebels animation was a little bit different too. It didn't have to be spot on. It just had to be close enough.
Mhm.
I mean, they look, if I mean, how much did people complain about the Grand Inquisitor? I felt like that was a fumble only because you had made those creatures already in live action during Revenge of the Sith. So you had the technology to make that character in the way that it should have been. And that's one of the things that I've always, I've said I got my beef with Kenobi and Boba and the shows that people don't like, but ultimately I don't find as much bad as I do good. This is a victory. This is a huge win. The fact that they brought Lasat into live action before Ahsoka, because we anticipated seeing this in Ahsoka, not here. I mean, another
Proceeding
tease,
as I had planned.
another tease, right? Another tease showing that they're getting it right. Yes, not every show is a victory. Yet not.
It didn't
I
feel
hope-
out of place. It went right
Right.
along with the story. It was perfect.
He didn't just walk in and with his bow rifle and like stabbing a droid or something, but it looks right. It looks right. Now, I'm going to go a little further back into this scene because I found this to be a fantastic. This bar cracks me up because if you noticed, all of the droid heads, there's a there's a probe droid head at the head of the bar, and they're all the different helmets and styles of Imperial troopers all on
Up
the
top,
bar.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just
That's awesome.
Mhm.
it just looked right. just looked bright.
Not
But
to mention the people inside of it.
so there was a cowboy hat across. I'm gonna pull. I guess I got to pull it back up.
My bad.
There's a cowboy hat in this last scene before he takes off. Let's see if I can find it. Get it right here.
Oh yeah, that's right. All the
think it's
people
a
in the
little
bar were
before.
like producers and directors.
Right there.
Yeah, the same dudes we see in season
Yeah.
1.
That's Dave Filoni.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Right.
and Rick Famuyiwa.
That's Dave Filoni.
Yeah,
Eric
and
Rick-
Rick
Spike in the
Famuyiwa.
football.
Yeah, you're right.
Right there.
Spike in the
That's
football,
so
right?
crazy.
That's exactly what he's doing. He is like, you see that character right there? That's from my show. We decided to bring this into this show to show you how sick my show is going to be. Hate all you want, haters. This shit's going to fire on all cylinders. You better get your hate on, because all I do is work. And
Next season, Rebels is gonna be fantastic.
next season of Rebels, I mean, oh wait,
Don't you mean the Mandalorian season 3?
but yeah,
just
look, this is an absolute victory lap with Dave sitting in the foreground going, that's my character. I can't wait to see him with the rest of the Rebels crew in Ahsoka coming up.
There's room for all of the Ghost crew.
People were like, "Oh, is that who was it?
You know what that was
that
Mystery
Cat
Science Theater. That was Mystery Science Theater. That's just Dave sitting there with Rick, and they're just watching the show, commentating.
It was. I
just
mean,
their
look,
shadow outlines.
weren't there rumors we're getting Fen Rao at some point this season too?
well, that's what everybody was saying, because Christopher Lloyd's character is supposed to be a Mandalorian chieftain, and if he is in all black with the Mandalorian horns, right, on his armor, let's get back to Moff Gideon.
So I think it would be cool if it actually is the Night Owls, because they're mercenaries now.
Right.
I think it'd be cool if they somehow got hired or somehow knew how big the job would be, or maybe they know that Bo-Katan is now back in league with the other Mandalorians and that this resurgence is taking place, and they want to thwart that, and they know that Gideon is the way to do that. I think that'd be cool.
Or is it?
There's gonna be a civil war.
I think it's cooler if Moff Gideon is an Imperial Mandalorian.
Yeah, maybe that's how how
Moff.
these Night Owls link back to him, and then maybe that's why they follow him. But I think they're also using Beskar as weapons. And I'll cite the spear that Ahsoka takes from that one magistrate or whatever it is. So we know there are weapons made of Beskar, and I think that's why one of them was pierced into the side of the ship, or
it wasn't.
Otherwise,
I'm going back to it right now. It wasn't. This is a mine. This is one of the mines. The whatever they call them. I don't know. I don't really even know what they call them. But if you're looking at this scene,
I thought it was just something jammed into the wall. They don't really show you much.
It looked like an unexploded ordnance, is what it looked like. It looked like a mine that didn't go off. Because if you look,
I didn't get a good look at it. I guess
there. This right in the center.
No, that's not what they're looking at, though, bro. It's above it, the thing that glows. Right? It's like in the wall. It's a horizontal.
Yeah, I thought it's like the little.
Go back a little bit.
But I thought it was the ingot right here. This little guy right here.
Oh, it's like an inch above it.
Yeah, it's the thing above it.
It glows bright white as it scans over it. Mm-hmm. It does.
I saw the same thing you did. So
right there. Stop.
Okay, so you're talking about this little guy right here.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
See, I saw this little guy right here. This looked.
I mean, it's part of the ship.
I thought this was like one of their Mandalorian mine, their little grenades. But you're talking about.
Oh, I guess I know what you're talking about now. Obsession.
Darren wears on his
little,
the little
circle things. Yeah,
right?
but
that just looked like a bolt to me.
Yeah, I think the thing above that is the actual.
Could very well be both.
Mm-hmm.
Could be a shard from that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, the whole ship is on fire. A bunch of explosions went off in there, but what he found specifically from the scan is something embedded in the wall, and he calls it a Beskar fragment. or something.
Alloy or yeah.
Alloy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I will say
Right
real
there.
quick because I do have to go pretty soon, but I think
The other one glows too.
Yeah.
maybe they're both Beskar.
Maybe.
I don't know, to be honest. I guess we'll find out soon enough, but I think Dave Filoni doesn't really waste screen time or little cameos most of the time. Like they usually have a purpose. So I think this Zeb cameo is gonna go somewhere down the line this season. And leading into Ahsoka, I think we're gonna get another tease here. Not to mention we already saw Purgle and everything. Like I think there's Rebels characters coming fast and quick this season in the Mandalorian.
Let's go.
Freaking, I think it's going to be a hype end of the season though, and the fact that nobody in the New Republic is really taking it serious, that there's a threat in the Outer Rim, the fact that it seems like Carson Teva might even be friends with Zeb already. Like I think Zeb is going to make a call to some people. They're going to try to help out either the Mandalorians or the people of what's that planet? Friggin' why can't I think of it now?
Was he telling Zeb the same thing he was saying to his commander, that he thinks it's all connected, that there's some deeper plot, or he didn't get that far into it with
I don't think
Zeb?
he got that far.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
but Zeb heard what Grieve Karga was saying about Navarro.
Yes.
Or Navarro. Yeah.
Yes. Well, and it seems like there's already the in for like the Mandalorians and the Ghost crew have already worked together, right? The fact that they all know each other and Sabine is an in. The real lightning bolt at the end of the season or coming up would be if we see the Ghost or the Phantom
getting
and but only see Zeb and Sabine, right? Like if they show up on Navarro or whatever the case, it would be awesome to hide the Ahsoka Hera.
I was about to say, I'm not gonna lie, I think it maybe would be Hera and not Sabine Ahsoka. Because Hera would likely be with the New Republic and everything still, and Sabine is still on Lothal, and Ahsoka's doing
long
whatever the
time
heck
frame
she
between that gap though before she gets to Lothal. So
yeah,
I mean, what if we saw Jason Syndulla and Hera at the end of the season coming to the rescue?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I don't think that sticks. I don't think that sticks the landing with everything that's been out there. I don't think Hera and Jason Syndulla stick with the fandom the way it does with you and I and a couple of other people. I think that Sabine is, and being as they've made those Sabine shorts on Disney to give you a little more background on how she feels about Mandalore, it just seems like she is more of a marketable in than Hera and Jason, if we even get a Jason Syndulla.
Can't go rounding up all the Mandalorian clans and miss out on Clan Ren. That's all I'm saying.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's true.
And I think that Zeb showing up with Sabine on Navarro on his own, like gets in his X-wing or whatever he's flying. I don't know if the Ghost. I looked relentlessly for the Ghost in that beach scene. I was like, are they hiding it? Is there a big structure anywhere? Could they be? I didn't find it anywhere. So is Zeb in a X-wing with the rest of those guys? Does he have his own ship, or is he with Hera there? It just seems like Sabine getting involved with Mandalorian Darksaber stuff seems to fit the bill way more than Hera, because Hera doesn't, as a pilot later, as a ship leader, cool, but she doesn't fit in the Mandalorian culture, right? Sabine has seen it from both sides, so it would seem more likely that if we're going to see another Ghost,
we can get them all, man. We
could. I just don't think they're all needed. I think you save a couple things till Ahsoka, but Sabine makes a lot of sense here.
But think about if you're trying to introduce the show that's
peace out, y'all.
Amen.
It's basically going to be Rebels reincarnated.
Right.
So what better way than to get a little piece of each character?
For sure. It just,
even if they don't know them, they will like them.
Right. Yeah. For sure. I feel like Sabine has some skin in the game, and it would be awesome to see her armor, the coloring. She's taken off her helmet. That would be a good person to first reach out to for Bo-Katan, because Bo-Katan's going on her own adventure to find more Mandalorians. I don't think she's going to go plead to the Sasha Banks and her old Night Owl crew. I think to start would be to get Clan Ren involved, right? That would be the first step for her. Who can I get first?
Bro, talk about a culture shock for all of the Mandalorian clans that are currently there with their solid colorations, their clans that they're from, and then to meet a Sabine Wren who comes in with her custom paint job, modern era Mandalorian, like
Well, and how cool would it be? How cool would
yeah,
it be
bring them into the fold.
before the cinematic event, before we get all the clans together?
That's what I'm
Sabine
saying.
Sabine starts painting armor. Like
Mm.
she starts hanging
Yeah.
out with the armor, and she's like, we're not one clan. We need to be one clan again, right? Look at the color. Look at this. We need to unite, right? And so it would be really cool to see Sabine show up with Clan Ren, with Bo-Katan,
Mhm.
being the first clan that rejoins the effort to retake
Get
Mandalore.
everybody mythosaur out.
Everybody's
He's in
got-
need of some house colors too.
That's what I'm
all
saying.
Chrome.
Right. And there's a couple people that are all chrome. There's a bunch of like miscellaneous colors going around. Screw that. Let Sabine come in and basically be a smithy with the armor, right? Like how cool would it be to see her, working on the Beskar, and then Sabine's in the corner painting symbols, all over all the Beskar. It would just be a really easy in to
Plus,
show Sabine and Clan Ren joining the efforts to retake Mandalore before we see the Night Owls that are out there being mercenaries, right?
I think when she goes and visits Lothal, that's more like a shrine, like
Yes.
cemetery type. It's a when she's feeling lonely, she goes back to pay homage to Ezra stuff. Like
well, and you could see how much time has gone by during in that scene, because the city of Lothal is no longer this like village. It's a shining beacon of city. It's got a very Coruscant look on it. It's got a very Hosnian Prime. It's very elegant in the future when we see Sabine, the post cred scene. So it seems like there's a lot of time in the middle before Ahsoka shows up, and this would be a great, like, how good would it be if the last scene in Rebels was after Mandalore was retaken, or
I
after
think what we're leading to is they need to take it from the Imperial remnants of Mandalorians.
Well, but we don't know who that Beetlebot was.
I'm putting it down. I think that's what's happening.
Mhm.
I don't care if I'm wrong. That's what I'm saying.
No, I mean
Don't wrong.
it seems likely, especially because there's no communication on Mandalore, right? There could be an entire war on Mandalore and nobody would know, because there's no communication in and out. You can't see in because of all the.
So you think that there's Mandalorians there?
Yep. The
Well,
And they
Empire
were
is
hiding, and they saw Din and Bo come in, do
well,
whatever,
maybe
and
they
leave.
Well,
called the
think about that too. How the hell did they respond to them so quick when they were leaving?
Yeah.
And then
Maybe
know
they
right
called
where
the
to go.
Empire. Yeah.
Who? What do you mean?
Well, the Imperials were on Bo and Din as soon as they came off of Mandalore. As soon as they came into space, they were on them, and then they had to run to Concordia, or not Concordia. What's Bo's planet?
Maybe they purposely send non-Mandalorians after them. They don't want people to know. Like they're probably
Well,
a
they
little
could
bit
also
like half
play that
shame,
off
half
with-
hiding.
The Empire would definitely like patrol the area, I would think.
I mean, I could see Moff Gideon's. I could see that being a sector that Moff Gideon's forces regroup in, right? Because obviously he was big in the destruction of Mandalore, right? He was involved. He was
They
there.
definitely don't want to see the
So
resurgence.
he knows for a fact that you can still breathe on Mandalore.
Right, and Kalevala is so. As soon as they were headed for Kalevala,
I would believe that. I think Gideon has been down there.
Going
Oh,
back
sure.
to season 1, like that Beskar looked fresh. So just
which
saying,
Mhm.
from the first episode.
oh, you're talking about from the ingots.
Yeah,
All
it
the
looked
collected stuff they had.
very, very fresh. Just saying.
Mm.
For all we know, they're still mining it. They still got like an outpost there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Who put the beetle bug there? right? The Empire was really big on using these probes and these, creatures of the planet to alert them.
Mm.
So it seems likely that when Din got captured by that beetle bot, somebody found out. Now, whether they had to go off world to send a communication to the Empire, could have happened while Din was down there. There was a lot of time between Grogu getting Bo and Bo making it back to the mines. It just seems like maybe there's an outpost in the Mandalorian sector. They saw Din, then they saw Bo's ship, and then boom, they're right there. And those are Moff Gideon's people. Maybe there are Mandalorians there. It seems like we are going to see the Christopher Lloyd Mandalorian in the next episode, with Bo going on a hunt for other Mandalorians. It seems like this is going to be the clan search.
The only big hole in this is why are the Mandalorians still helping the Empire if they destroy the planet? That's the
Money.
only part that makes it hard.
Well, that's where Bo was like, yeah, all the rest of the Mandalorians are mercenaries now. It's like, well, if it's credits thereafter, the Empire's got a lot of them. Look what happened to the Bad Batch. They got sold out for a box of credits. So
But Santa pointed this like right away, even pulled out the doll, like the Mandalorian Empire commandos. He's like, this is who took them.
yeah. I mean, it's definitely, if it's not the Moff Gideon Mandalorians, the loyal to the Empire Mandalorians, it's definitely the Night Owls.
I'm still holding out on the armor being Rook cast.
I don't see the Night Owls doing it because they're the ones that took him down and put him, gave him up to the tribunal.
But they've left Bo-Katan.
Right.
But they left her because she was kind of sulking that she didn't have the confidence to lead it.
Well, she didn't return with the Darksaber. That was the hook. She had to come home with it, and she didn't. And so they're like, well, So
if they left because she didn't have it and now Gideon has it, of course they're going to maybe they're just loyal to the saber, man.
Well, if that were the case,
it would be that easy.
In, you know what I mean?
Or if they believe, if they believe that Gideon lost it not by trial of combat. They're mercenaries. They can believe whatever they want. I just think it would be dope if it was actually her people and it would cause
the way I took it when I saw her saying
even
like
more.
They didn't stay with her, like the fleet left. Like just the fact there's a fleet, like they're still like they have a purpose. They're still like lighting up Empire ships when they find them stealing and doing what they gotta do. I feel like they're still dedicated towards something, but they didn't see her. Like you saw how demoralized she was. I don't think that was entirely because that left. I think that led up to them. It's like, all right, she doesn't see what else to do anymore because she can't see the Darksaber anymore.
And I kind of like where you're going there. If the Mandalorians are mercenaries, but okay, here's the thing. If that is a Beskar weapon that was shooting Beskar projectiles, then that was Moff Gideon's crew using Beskar like Thrawn's lackey, where Ahsoka gets the staff from. If the Imperial Remnants is using Beskar to make weapons, and they did use a Mandalorian Beskar weapon to take out the Lambda shuttle, that makes more sense than somebody getting blown up with Beskar in that shuttle, because there would be more. So for me, it seems like that could have been Moff. That it's more likely to me that is Moff Gideon's band of misfits using Beskar weapons and rescuing him, and then taking him back to what is the Snoke command area. Because I feel like at this point, Snoke is up and running. The body's done. Pershing's dead. He did his work. Or the body is about to be unleashed. So it just seems like the Mandalorians don't have Moff Gideon, and that he got rescued by what is going to be the First Order soon enough.
We shall see. I'll die in this hill possibly in 2 days, but
Well, and then we'll get what? We have 2 more episodes before the season finale.
2 or 3.
Let's look.
Oh, before it, yeah.
So this was
I think 3
episode
total.
5. So there's 3 left. That's still and this is supposed to be Bryce Dallas Howard's episode, and she does some really awesome episodes. Could this be? I mean, are we going to finally see Moff Gideon this season?
I think so.
Oh no, we
I think they
start the
wouldn't have-
episode with a flashback of how he got broken out.
Yes.
I want to see a flashback of how he got the Darksaber.
You do a whole episode of flashbacks,
give-
and I'll be
yeah.
happy.
Yeah.
Because
Sit his ass in front of a forge and let's go.
well, I mean, if there is a Gar Saxon Mandalorian crew running around out there, they would be loyal to probably Moff Gideon because they hated the rest of the Mandalorians. So, yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Bryce Dallas Howard introduced Bo-Katan in that episode. Could this be another another badass introduction like Sabine? Right? Because I would love nothing more than a live action Sabine Wren training Din Djarin. The same way that Kanan taught her. And the best part about that is she has Ezra's lightsaber. She has her own saber to fight with. So she doesn't need to have a Beskar staff. She doesn't need any of this other shit. She's got a lightsaber. So how bitchin' would it be to go out in the desert on their new property by the lava pits and have Sabine Jedi train, basically?
If goddamn live action Sabine lights up Ezra's lightsaber, I'm gonna lose it, bro. I'm gonna lose it.
I'm anticipating her like Bo's not going alone. I think Din's going with her. So I don't think they're gonna be on Navarro. Maybe not for the rest of the season.
I agree with that. I think if anything, those two are the two ways of the Creed, right? Because basically the armor is like, look, Bo walks both ways, right? She can go with or without, but we have to embrace the people that are not covering their faces. We can't continue to be at war with each other over this. The armor is finally compromising and saying, look, Bo-Katan was a Mandalorian. Holy shit! What'd you bring to eat today, Dan?
5 steaks.
5 steaks?
5 steaks.
5 steaks to the face.
4 chickens.
He's always
it's like 5 guys. It's like 5 guys. It's 5 steaks.
Change your name to Frozone when you first jumped in.
Frozone. Hey, you sound like Frozone. You look like a good Frozone, dude.
Where's my super steak?
Woman, where's my
cold as ice every single time.
That's all right. Clown all you want, because this Frozone here just got his.
Did you go to the audition?
I got an investor for my show, my series, actually.
Hey,
let's go.
Went into production as early as next year, so get books from now because it ain't gonna be shit next year.
Frozo got some sponsors. Let's go.
Motherfucking investors, motherfucking show, Frozen.
Got my motherfucking show on this motherfucking place.
No steaks for y'all tonight, man. I'm on a budget now, so yeah.
So now it's an investor and goes on a budget. What the
right? Only man who does it.
Something not adding up.
That's right. So what the hell y'all been talking
steaks?
Are we going to see?
Bro, we've been talking about everything. Where do you want to start?
Ren in this season of Mando, and is Sabine going to train Din the way that Kanan trained Sabine? And the great part is she has Ezra's lightsaber, so she can train him with a lightsaber. What are your thoughts, Dan the man? Let's go.
I think that's possible. I'm not sure if they'll actually bump into Sabine, because I saw in the report that in the Ahsoka show you're going to get Hera, the engineer dude, Jason, Sabine's coming back, and I think there's somebody else, a fifth.
Oh yeah, that Zeb character that we just saw in live action this week.
We're thinking we're gonna get them all before the end of the season, Mando.
Well, they didn't even mention Zeb in that report. They just mentioned those. I mean, I wouldn't put it past them.
That's because we already seen him.
Yeah.
I seen him.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell?
He's on the TV.
What y'all been sipping on tonight, man?
Man, you're an hour late, guy. We getting that scissor up in here. What you doing, girl?
You can't have a party without Dan the man.
Hey, man, we expected you to be eating up to get party ready, but apparently you're on a bad man budget now. So
we've run through so many topics actually that Ryan Johnson's still living rent free in chat's head. We're boring them. We're boring them apparently because they're talking about the sequels. I don't know, man. Like we're trying here, so you got to help us bring the hype back around. Either Mando or Bad Batch. Like just talk, bro. You got theories? What do you got? You got theories?
Yeah,
oh man, come on! Well, you mad that they killed Tech?
Still on the Bad Batch.
I'm just not with the okie doke no more, man. I'm actually thankful they killed Tech for real. Sorry, not sorry, but they needed. I'm sorry, the show needed some
chat. He didn't mean it, chat.
They needed.
Jeez.
And Dan has been evacuated from the building.
That is for his own protection. That was for your own protection.
How dare you? How dare you?
No, look, man. I mean, look. If they were going to kill a character, Tech was the only dude they could have got, right? Because like you kill Wrecker, I think people would have like Hulk smash shit, right?
Killed Hunter and made it a surprise.
I mean, Hunter's the dad, man. Hunter's Bob Saget, bro. Hunter's,
he's older than all of them.
He's fake ass Rambo, man.
Fake ass wannabe Rambo. Yeah, man. I just think like my problem with this episode of Bad Batch is like, why would you go back to Sid and not Pabu?
Right.
Like, that's my thing. Is like, why are you not going to Scarif? Why are you going to Ord Mantell? Like, that's my number one. Like, you gave Sid the prime opportunity to sell you. So like that's my number one thing. That's a bad decision right there. But you gotta get Omega caught at some point because she's gotta be the bait to take down Mantantis.
She's gotta die.
I mean, she could be like Ellie from The Last of Us. They may need to gut her to get all that genetic code out of her brain for some reason. We don't know.
Couldn't they use her sister for that though?
But here's the thing. So you missed a lot. Is that a clone, like maybe like Charlie or Delta, right? Because there were a lot of like from Alpha to Omega. There's a lot of variations that they could have made. Or is that Jango Fett's daughter?
That could theoretically be Jango's daughter if they're gonna make a big deal out of her. I think.
And could that lead us into Boba Fett season 2, the background of Jango Fett, and getting to see him get his freak on, and making some real Mandalorian babies. Speaking
of the Fett, do you think we're gonna get Boba Fett tomorrow?
Yeah, dude. I think maybe not tomorrow, but if not the season finale, I think it's important if they're gonna do a season 2 of Boba, which seems to be on the plate at the moment. It seems to me if you're going to do a season 2 of Boba, you 100% have to explore Jango Fett. I don't think you can go forward with this mobster on Tatooine story anymore. I think if anything, it's got to be the spark that Din Djarin ignited in him to become Mandalorian, right? To become one of them again, because we saw the chain code, right? This was my father's Zama, and then you saw Jaster's name in there. That goes real back to old school Mandalorian lore. So Hawks is eating in place of Dan because Dan's not eating today. So if
I'm like known as the guy that eats on his stream now.
It's okay. We like it. But if you're going to do a season 2 of Boba, I think you've got to go Jango backstory, right? Yeah. I think you've got to go towards that area, just because it seems like when Din and Boba were in the cantina, in Garza's cantina, and Boba looks at him and says, "Look, you can go. Like, I'm good. I'll figure it out." And Din's like, "No, dude, I'm with you to the end. This is the way." Right? That, much like it's done to Bo-Katan, Din Djarin is sparking the want to return to the Mandalorian creed, to return to being Mandalorian. If anything, I think that's the ultimate story of Din Djarin. Whether he is the reluctant king, whether he is the leader that they've been looking for, cool story, whatever. If anything, Din Djarin is the bridge to the Mandalorian reunification. And so with Boba, he had that moment in the bar where he sparked Boba's interest in coming back to the Mandalorian creed, going back to his father's way. And then he did the same thing for Bo-Katan, bringing her into the fold with the creed. So it seems like,
I mean, he's the Steve Rogers of the Mandalorians.
Yeah.
He's unwavering.
And Grogu's got
unwavering loyalty to the cause, to the people. Like,
well, okay,
You do
so
this
the
all
man.
day. This is the
we were
way.
mentioning theories earlier. My Back to the Future guy, I think he's going to end up playing Bo's dad that's been in hiding that took Moff
he said
Gideon.
he's dead.
Cap. It's a cover up because Moff Gideon is a Mandalorian and he was part of his loyalty to him. So he's now Moff Gideon owes him as a debt or something. That's the direction I think they're going with. Because there's only a handful of Mandalorians we know are still out there, and one of them being Bo-Katan's people. But the rest, they're like that clan that's on Tatooine with the armor. But outside of them, who else?
Well, the Wrens. You have, we don't know what happened in the Night of a Thousand Tears. We don't know the Wren clan got out. Sabine's family.
Oh, you missed my whole theory.
Oh yeah.
I assumed that the armor was talking about other people that
Right.
that weren't there that she was with. So
Yeah, it seems like when Din Djarin came out of the cave and was talking about, we pride ourselves on our ability to hide. That scoops across all Mandalorian.
It could be Finn Rao too, because he's still out
Right.
there.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I think I am more, and Finn Rao was very much of, not of the Empire, right? Not a fan of the Empire. So to see him with his own clan fighting the Empire on their own terms, but not wanting to be part of the cult that is the coverts. But Bo could be, again, Bo seems to be this bridge, so to speak, to allow the Mandalorians that don't carry the creed to join them, right?
Ezra Bridge.
Bridge of theory. Bridge of brother theory. Let's go.
I'm telling you, I could see it. Like I could see the next episode or two playing out where we get Fen Rao and Hera investigating this Mandalorian jailbreak of Moff Gideon. That's how you bring them in. Sabine gets wind of it too. It just gets crazy. We get all the Rebels characters, just a little taste.
Just a little reunion of satisfaction.
Yeah, because honestly, like all of the New Republic now is going to be talking about Mandalorians that helped Gideon escape. That's going to spread across the whole New Republic because it's over the radio. It's over the radio chatter, right?
But was that bait? That's my thing. Was that bait?
But
I'm just saying to alert, like, sorry, Dan, the other Mandalorians that we haven't seen yet. Now this is a way for like the hollow net to put it out there, like Gideon's in league with Mandalorians.
News today: Mandalorians help Moff Gideon escape from his shuttle due for the War Tribunal. More at 7.
And the sad thing is, I can see some raggedy shit like that happening too. Despite the guy that called it in, he's cool with Din, so he knows he didn't do it. But
right, and he knows that covert didn't do it.
But if he makes that call, he does know that it's going to give Mandalorians a bad name, regardless.
Yeah, and it seems like, to me, that was bait. That was almost like, because if you're Moff Gideon and you've got this Beskar weaponry, right? Beskar projectile weaponry. If Beskar can, if the Empire has started making Beskar weapons, staffs, whatever, it's not going to take long for them to make projectile weapons. Forget conventional blaster bolts. Let's use Beskar blaster bolts. And so it seems like this was a Moff Gideon exit strategy. I don't see the other Mandalorians using Beskar as a weapon. To them, it's armor. It's defensive. It's not offensive, right? The only thing they use that are offensive are their projectiles that come out of the gauntlets. But for the most part, we don't see them with a vibroblade and blasters. They don't really fuck with like Beskar weaponry.
Bro, just make
So-
Din
You need a
Beskar
special
shit.
forge, right? You need a special forge, right?
to make Beskar,
to
yes.
bend Beskar. Someone made the spear.
Well, they have their own forge. How do we know that
So-
the forge is still on Mandalore? Right.
And I think I won't go as far as Nerd Mafia with like the supply of Beskar. I think it's rare. I think they have scavenged everything off the surface they can. I think it's possible Mandalorians could find more deeper in there in the planet. I think that would be cool. That's one of the theories I have. But I think they're only melee. I don't think there's enough Beskar for it to just be blasting off everywhere.
well, and
Whistling birds are like this big, you know what I'm saying? They're meant to be vital kill shot.
well, and
But-
it seems like the Imperials only went so far. They mined the mines, probably enslaved the people, made them mine the mines because that's what the
Oh, I
Imperials.
mean, you got to
do.
enslave the people.
But then, if there was a mythosaur down there and they don't know what's really down there, for all we know, there could still be Beskar veins in the living waters, right? And that
I
the
hope so.
mythosaur could expose when it finally breaks free of that tavern.
Hmm.
So it seems like all the
Oh
Mandalorians.
my god.
I'm not assuming
Yo,
that
put in the final pieces of my theory together, right?
Good.
If there is an outpost on Mandalore of Imperial remnants of Mandalorians that broke Moff Gideon free, and that's where he's hiding out. Rumor has it that somebody's going to ride that mythosaur at some point at the end of the season, right?
Yep.
Wouldn't it be easier if they're on planet fighting that sect of Imperial
Yeah.
Mandalorians? I just put the whole thing. I just put it all together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And he's out. He dropped the mic. Mic drop. Peace out. I'm gonna go get a steak. But yeah, I mean, it's look. There's obviously some Mandalorian on Mandalorian crime that's coming. Bo-Katan has been sent to basically gather reinforcements. They're going home. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. They may be regrouping on Navarro for a minute, and I think it's going to be awesome to have her old forge back. So the forge she had to abandon on Navarro, she gets that forge back. She's got the one that they're bringing from the cave. So now she's got two forges. Could we see her start cranking out some new armor? Now that Mandalorians are taking their helmets off a little more, are we going to see her start making new stuff? Right?
I need her to make that white armor. And I need to see that white, black, all the rainbow armor. Give me some diversity.
Well, but I was saying earlier, is this the time where they all start following one? Like, if Sabine Wren shows up, it would be awesome for her to work with the armorer to start creating a new design for the new Mandalorian culture, right? Everybody in unison, and to see, because seeing that the scene that we saw of the droppers, the Mandalorian droppers, that was rad.
Yeah.
Right, to see all the same color armor flying down, the Death Watch symbol right there. It felt very Clone Wars, right? And I would love to. I just want to see Sabine Wren break out Ezra's lightsaber for some Din Djarin training. Like, for me, that's the scene that melts the internet. Firing up Ezra's lightsaber in live action next to the Darksaber again. But the last time these two sabers were next to each other, it was Sabine and Ezra together. Like, that for me is that poetry shit that George Lucas talks about. That's that shit right there that he talks about. Because that would be poetic, especially for Sabine. Like, I don't want that responsibility. Sorry, you got that responsibility. Let me show you how to use that thing. Let me show you how to really use that thing, because we don't know that Sabine didn't teach Bo how to really use that thing, right?
Right.
Because she was a boss with it as soon as she picked it up. We don't know how long Sabine spent on Mandalore training Bo-Katan in the Darksaber. So it would be poetic that the last Jedi that we see with the Mandalorians,
Don't say that
Kanan and Ezra Bridger, taught a Mandalorian how to fight like a Jedi, right? Taught the forms to a Mandalorian that is going to teach the new Mandalorians this same form. Like, that shit's poetry, man. I gotta
don't forget, Fen Rao had a hand in that too.
Right? That's what, like, how poetic would it be for those three to go out in the desert next to the lava dunes and have a training session like Kanan and Ezra used to? Like,
plus, look how Din's been tearing it up in that N1. Fen Rao's gonna be like, oh shit, kid's got moves. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of my favorite things. Is like, I'm above, I'm below. He's above, he's below. Ah, man, he's whooping your ass. So yeah, man, I feel like people are saying, you know, oh, they're grooming Bo-Katan to be, you know, the overpowered Mandalore. And I'm like, she's the only one that's seen all the shit.
They're showing,
I'm telling you,
like Din and Bo
all that shit's going to her
counterbalancing
head,
each
bro.
other.
What's that?
Go ahead.
Hear him. No, they're showing like Din and Bo like counterbalancing each other. Like they're showing Bo is a badass, like hand-to-hand combat. Din, it's all right. He takes his hits. He endures. That's how he wins his fights. But you put them both in a ship, he's whooping all takers. And she's like,
Oh, yeah.
shit. Like, she recognized that. He recognizes her on ground. They're perfect together. Like they're the perfect like Din Bo all day.
The power couple, man. I mean, look, I've been screaming it for a year. Look, it says 2022, suckers. I've been screaming this campaign for a year now. Get off it. But yeah, look, I mean, really,
if they both know how to wield that saber too, they get in a fight on the ground, they just whip it back and forth to each other like
I mean,
people love.
yeah, it's very Rey Kylo, right? I mean, it's very like here's a saber thrown in from across the room, right? It's got that dyad feeling to it. But for me, it's more like I feel like the instruction from Sabine would be cool to see, because it would, like, especially if Bo is there while Din is getting saber trained, and we could see a flashback of Sabine training Bo also, and then that boomerangs back to the Kanan Ezra in the desert with Finn Rao. Like, that whole story in the desert would be an awesome contrast. And then to see Bo have a flashback when the dark saber and Ezra's saber clash, like when the Mandalorian forge hits, would be like, for me, would be epic, because that's absolutely how, like, for me, Ezra's saber is clutch. If I see Sabine, if she doesn't power up Ezra's saber while she's there in Mandalore, I'm gonna lose my shit.
She's been casted for a while now. Same with Hera. Like it's so they can do so much magical stuff. Just get us all primed up for Ahsoka.
They know what the heck y'all want, man, and they're gonna give it to you. I just don't think you're gonna get it in this show. I think you'll see Ahsoka and Sabine, but
For sure.
I don't think you're gonna get the Rebels reunion in Mandalorian.
I don't think we'll get the Rebels reunion. I think just the taste of Zeb, knowing that he's with Hera. But you know, there's these shorts, there's these teases of how connected to Mandalore Sabine is, and so for me,
definitely suitable to be showing up.
Yeah, I think if you're going to show Zeb in this show, Sabine is not a far fetch to bring up, because she is so vested in Mandalorian culture. Those are her people. She wears that emotion, and the fact that she has history with the Darksaber, has history with Bo-Katan, to meet Din Djarin and then to see he's got the saber and to be like, how'd you get that? Why don't you have that? Quick backstory. Moff Gideon beat my ass. Maybe a flashback to Gideon taking the saber from Bo-Katan.
We're definitely getting that.
Right? Like, these little things could all coalesce at the same time. Right? But I think that because they're using sound right now as an entry to flashbacks. So every time we see the forge hit, Grogu's got a flashback. Din's got a flashback. Bo's thinking about the mythosaur, right? Like, it seems like they're using sounds as almost like a preamble to the flashbacks. So to hear the Darksaber and Ezra's lightsaber clash together would be like the perfect segue to show Bo-Katan training, Moff Gideon betraying them, however that whole thing spun out. We need to see it before the season finale. That's all I'm saying. You can't leave me with this shit for another year and a half,
Yeah.
not knowing how Moff Gideon got a goddamn Darksaber.
Right.
Like
That's
you can't do that. Yeah,
You don't say that.
You know, you
I
don't
was
say
like,
that.
am I the only one frozen? Did everybody freeze? What happened?
Very good.
But for me, like that's the thing is you've led us 3 seasons from the season 1 finale. We see the Darksaber. Everybody shits their pants. And it's an Imperial. And you're like, how the hell Bo had it last? Sabine, what? Season 2 goes by, no talk about it. All we get is like the creed and how it's supposed to be won and that shit. He gets one from Moff Gideon, whatever. You're just not going to tell that story at all?
Sabine's gonna know that too. Like she's gonna know exactly or pretty much what went down on Mandalore. Her family. That's the only thing that might lead to her family not being involved. It's like, did they get wiped out?
Right.
That
Is
night.
she the last of Clan Ren? Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh shit! Damn. That's what happened to Corky. Yeah, Moff Gideon killed Corky, y'all.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. And
I never put that together too.
and did Bo witness it? And did he kill Corky with the Darksaber after he took it from her? Right? Because that's her son. That's her son. That's Bo-Katan's son.
Oh shit, Bo Child, right? Fuck.
That's Bo's kid because it was anti-Satine.
I wanted that to be Kenobi's kid. So
It ain't Kenobi's kid. That's not like, oh, I had a Jedi baby raise my Jedi baby for me, Bo. That ain't how that went.
no, the only way that could even be possible is if they got their rocks off and they were like 12, because Kenobi was supposed to be like 20 in Phantom Menace, and he met her. You know what I'm saying? So,
But they did see each other in Clone Wars during the Clone Wars, and they could have had an intimate moment in the Clone Wars that we didn't get to see. You know, we didn't get to see Annie impregnate. You know,
Let's get it
oh,
on.
girl.
well, no, but Corky was already a teenager.
Scandalous.
Scandalous.
But if you are going to bring him in live action, I want Andrew Garfield as Corky.
Look, I mean, how badass?
When a man loves a woman,
how badass would it be, and how like gut wrenching would it be to see the Bo-Katan Moff Gideon fight scene? Moff Gideon disarms her. Instead of killing her, he kills her son, and she has to watch. And then he just leaves her there to because he doesn't have to kill her. There's worse things than death.
Yeah,
And watching the Darksaber kill Corky. I mean, that's how I want to. That's the fight scene I want to see.
I think that's what's likely to happen. But goddamn, it would be a waste because I had this theory that
I mean, we all wanted it to be true. I mean, he looked like him. He was there all the time.
Not just for him to be alive, but I wanted him because I had this thing with the Vader Immortal story about how that could potentially be a child of Maul and how that could work and how that kid could be friends with Corky and Obi-Wan and Maul's children could be like on some rush hour shit in the Star Wars. Like I had a good idea for it, but it's not going to work if Corky's dead. Like,
I mean, it seems like it would be a great way to explain why he didn't kill Bo-Katan. Because if he takes the saber from her, killing her would be the way to solidify his reign, his rule of Mandalore.
Mm-hmm.
But taking out the heir, Bo-Katan's last living heir.
But then again, would Bo even let Moff live after that?
I gotta stop you. I've let you go long enough.
Uh-oh.
There was no combat about it, bro. Like they never fought. He never gave her a fair shot. They surrounded her with 30 guns and took that shit. He can barely pick it up.
If I'm being real, this is a reunion I want to see right here.
Smacking her on the ass.
Slap that ass.
Go get him, kid.
That's all I want to see right there. You know, that first interaction.
Biggity bounce.
Yeah, I just don't fights with Gideon.
I mean, that's very well true, but I mean, I
Oh,
think
I
you
like-
have to show. Ahsoka was 14 when Anakin took her as an apprentice. At the end of the Empire, the Republic, I think she's what, like, he's 22, so she is
Like
18.
19.
She's 18 at the end of at the beginning of the Empire.
Wait, fuck yeah.
How dirty they do Corky though. They named him after that kid from Life Goes On.
Savagery. Yeah, but I mean, look, it's I mean, Ahsoka at this point is in her 40s, no doubt. You know, the Empire lasted about 19 years. So you do the math, she's about 40, if not a little older.
How does her species even age? Don't they live in their hundreds?
I don't know how old what is her name? Anakin kills her.
Twilight's
Yeah.
shot.
Just in case you're wondering, UConn's up 36-24 at half.
I don't know I
Shot
don't
T.
know if how old Shock T was, but
I
yeah,
was
I mean,
kinda-
look, we've seen really old people in Ahsoka's original village, right? We saw a lot of old so it seems like that species can live probably close to 100 years.
Oh,
Well,
damn.
Ahsoka is
but yeah,
immortal.
So Shak T was Ahsoka's age when she got killed. She's 40.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you know, Ahsoka. I don't anticipate seeing Ahsoka in this show. If anything, maybe at the end, leaning into the next show. But
Ooh, if we get Satine as a mainstay for the last couple episodes, we could recreate that scene from Rebels.
right.
Hot damn.
Right. Well, and who knows? That could be a Mandalorian scene, not an Ahsoka scene. That mural scene could be at the end of this
So,
show
I'm
as
just
a
thinking about it.
post-cred scene.
I don't know anybody on this planet that's like more into Rebels than Sheev. It's like we're like spirit brothers in that regard. Like I love Rebels, dude.
It's my favorite Star Wars content.
It honestly, yeah.
A through line of a story, it's top tier.
It has its highs for sure. You can't beat Clone Wars though.
I mean, look, I feel like it is the less viewed of the animations. I
Hell
mean,
yeah, won't nobody check
It's like my favorite time period overall, and it's just like love it.
Mhm.
well, and a lot of people weren't happy with the animation style. They wanted Clone Wars animation.
Yeah.
You can't.
Something different. It was
It
cool.
was like it grows on you as you watch it. Like,
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, the character arts are fantastic, right? Ezra fighting with the dark side. Ezra, constantly, tempted to do the wrong thing. At
What
the
if
end,
they just
I mean,
dropped a
he's Aladdin, bro. He's
Mm.
a street rat. He's Aladdin. Like if
That's-
I
Oh,
could
you-
I could cut a video of Aladdin's theme song as he's running through the bazaar, getting chased by the guards, over Ezra stealing shit in Rebels, and it would fit.
It's the elevator pitch for that show, no doubt.
Seriously.
That's how I swing with my life. I'm like Star Wars Aladdin.
Aladdin in
Mhm.
space. That's what the pitch was.
Yeah, it's Aladdin with Star Wars. That's basically how they pitched Ezra. Ezra is Aladdin.
Perfect.
Fatherless, familyless, orphan, street rat.
And if
They should just
Magnus
drop
Stewart had got the part, it would have been
the,
top tier perfectness.
If Scott Weiner got the part, what'd you say?
No, what the fuck, dude?
That's the original Aladdin, man.
Yeah. All right, bring
Now,
it.
what's my guy's name? Raul
Cooley.
Cooley. That's the guy
guy.
I wanted to play
Mhm.
Ezra.
Yep.
You
They
want
they literally got the dude from Aladdin though.
The dude
The
is
live action one.
Yeah. Yeah.
The dude
I
is
think.
a Star
No,
Wars junkie.
That's
It's not
who I
him.
was saying that they should have gotten. They went
I'm
with
pretty
some-
that's not who they went with.
No, they went with
Oh,
an
and I'm
unknown.
fucking racist. That's literally who I thought that was.
You
I could see
are.
a picture.
We've known the whole time. It's not. No, it's okay. Don't feel
I
bad.
thought it was him. Whatever.
He does look like a live action Ezra though.
He looks just like the dude from Aladdin.
Oh shit! Pull him up.
Or maybe I was confusing it with like the fan casting thing too.
Pull him up because the dude from Aladdin got a specific type of like hairdo that he never changes.
Let's be real. I don't know either one of these actors from Adam. So
Give me 4 more episodes, the final season of Rebels, in the same animation that they did for the final season of Clone Wars.
Oh,
Just give me an extended epilogue of where Ahsoka and Sabine are headed.
okay. I mean, dude, he looks just like the kid that did
He
Aladdin
just
too.
looks just like Ezra.
He looks like Ezra, but the Aladdin
What's this? Eman.
Esfandi. Eamon Esfandi. He is the live action Ezra, and he looks just like him.
30.
Who is the live action?
Or 20. Oh no, I think Ezra was the same age as Luke, so he'll be around.
Ezra was born one day before Luke and Leia.
Oh, it was Mina Masood. Okay,
So it looks like
they do look a lot alike.
Ezra was born on the day Order 66 happened. Technically, Luke and Leia were born the day after.
So how old is Luke right now?
During same as Ezra. Ezra 14?
No, right now in Mando.
Oh, how old is Ezra?
How old is Ezra?
I mean, come on, this dead ringer, man. That's the Aladdin guy.
Wait, what?
They look very much alike.
They can be brothers, sure, but
Yeah. I mean, that should be Djarin for all your intents and purposes.
yes, with it. Fuck it.
But yeah, I mean, look, it's
Scotty choking.
Just eating his chips.
He's eating his chips. But yeah, I mean, look, the actor looks just like Ezra. Ezra and Luke and Leia at this point during Mando are like 21. No.
Oh, they were 21.
24. Because they're 19 at the end of the Empire. This is 5 to 6 years later. So they're 24, 25 at this point.
Wait a minute.
Luke is 25 at this point.
There's a good 5 years because remember, Jon Favreau confused the fuck out of everybody. So you add that 2 years on top of that 5.
Yeah, so they're 26, 27 then.
Plus the 1 year. 0.
You should have typed in boobs. That would have been better.
But yes, basically Ezra, Luke, and Leia are both about 25, 26, mid-20s at this time. Yeah, right? Because they're born 19 years before the Empire ends. Add 5, that's 24. Add 2, that's 26. So 25, 26, mid-20s. They're all the same age. You know, I mean, look at Ahsoka is in her 40s at this point, looking at a 25-year-old Luke Skywalker training. And it's funny because that's about the age that he was training Ahsoka. Right? I mean, they were puppies. They were all young. It was children trading children boobs.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, I mean, I think, look.
It's an old code, but it checks out.
This is.
And Mr. Syndulla is like 12. So that's going to be right for some Jedi training right there.
Right. So, I mean, look, I mean, they're not quite 30, right?
No, they're like, I'd say late 20s. Yeah.
Mid-20s, mid to late 20s. Yeah, they're right about 25, 26. And that's what's so awesome about watching Ahsoka watch Luke train Grogu is because she's watching the same training she went through with his father. It's very poetic to watch that. Yeah, Sabine is about the same age. No, Sabine was a little older than Ezra.
1 year.
Was it 1 year?
Yeah.
Okay. She seemed a little older at the beginning of Rebels. She didn't seem like a teenager at the beginning of Rebels, but maybe she
mature faster, you know.
True. True. Yeah, I mean, so all of these people are in their late 20s, early 30s at this point of the story.
Maybe 2 years. I don't know.
Even still, they're all under 30. They're the same age as the OT trilogy kids were, right? Luke, Leia, Han, they were all about the same age, mid-20s, right? So it just seems like they're building up to something big at the end of the season. If they ended Bad Batch on this huge cliffhanger, I mean, literally, we're hanging on by our fingernails on this cliffhanger that they left us on in Bad Batch. This season of Mandalorian is going to end on something huge. I don't know what it is. But
I saw a video with a decent amount of views talking about how the girl who worked on Gideon's ship could also be a spy for Thrawn.
Well, she's definitely a spy for somebody.
And that's why she's taking out the Empire's ability to learn this cloning technology.
The New Republic's ability.
Anyone's ability.
Yeah, I mean, either it's Thrawn, or it's Gideon, or it's Palpatine. Snoke. These orders could be coming. Snoke could be 100% active right now. That body could be complete, out of incubation, Palpatine controlling, starting to pull strings. Like, that's the only reason why you would kill Pershing.
They cloned that dude from Andor's prison. That's how they got Snoke.
Yeah,
the one that can't swim.
Leave him alone.
Leave him alone.
Plus, not a lot of people talk about this, but the actress they chose for Sabine is straight up eye candy. Like, I cannot wait for her to hit any screen. I'm excited.
The first thing, if y'all have not seen her, she was on this very underrated show on Netflix called The Society. Great young adult show, and that's the first thing I've ever seen her in. She's gonna kill it at Sabine. Like, they did right.
Dope.
They did it right.
So that is
hype.
If I'm not mistaken, that is this girl, right?
Natasha Shawashasha.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Natasha, I will fuck that last name up. Shabababash.
Yeah. Many different renditions from what you just said. Yeah.
but she is I mean, another great casting. Face structure very similar, but this is what I'm saying. Look at Sabine with that lightsaber, with that dark saber, man. Come on.
Oh, is she like adopted Paisan Bordizzo?
Might be.
Hey.
Might be.
It just gets better and better. Like
yeah, I mean, look, this season has I know there's been a lot of ups and downs. I know a lot of people have been hating on it, trying to get their clicks. But ultimately, I am really pleased at where we're at. I'm digging what they're doing with Katie and with Bo-Katan. I don't think people expected her to play this large of a role in the show, but I think it's very, very iconic and poetic of what she is involved in.
Bro, this last episode was like probably one of my top 3 favorite episodes. It was absolutely amazing. The only thing that beats it in my head is obviously Luke Skywalker, and then the second time we saw Bill Burr, because that was like just an amazing performance.
Yeah. I mean, look, this episode, showing Bo-Katan hesitant to take her helmet off was interesting, because she never believed.
And they totally tricked me too when they did that scene, because I legit thought for a second, like, is she marching her out to go just take on Din right now? Like, what? And then you listen back. She's not saying you're our leader. She's saying you can unite us. There's a difference.
Right. That's exactly. Thank you for making that point, because that's exactly how I feel. There is a difference between a leader and somebody who is for the people. Right.
Unfortunately.
I mean, unfortunately, there is, yes, but not all leaders are like, the best leaders are reluctant. The best leaders don't want to lead, right? The best leaders are pushed into that position by the universe. They don't really want it. And that's why I think Din Djarin is the leader that needs to be leading the Mandalorians. He's beat Paz Vizsla. He's got that dude's respect. He's like, he's even talking in the thing. He's like,
I hate this man. I fucking hate this guy. He beat my ass. He kept the Darksaber. I hate this guy.
Is that supposed to be pause?
Right, that's Paz. So he's
Yeah,
like,
man.
you know,
That's,
and then
the Sean Favreau right there.
yeah, it's John Favreau. And then he's like,
But then they saved my kid. And I'm like, let's go fight, bitches.
Just go ahead and cast Obsession as the third Vizsla brother. Fuck it.
right, but like he's telling the covert, I hate this guy, I hate her. Like this is bullshit, but I'll follow them. And why? Because we're Mandalorians. This is what we do.
It's
Right?
what Mandalorians. Oh shit.
But I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Polarization's so hot right now.
Yeah.
Polarization. Bo-Katan's got to take a turn. She's got to take a dive. I'm sorry, you guys. She's setting
gonna
y'all
pick
up.
Fork.
You
That's
guys
all
are
we're waiting for.
no. You're getting all set up. You're getting your hopes. You're getting your hopes all up here. The gears are turning. The gears are turning. She has not made any decisions yet. Not
she's
one
been doing
decision's
some-
been made in her mind.
She's definitely been doing some squats though.
I used to think
Damn.
that too. Till Shorty got like mad comfortable with the covert after saving the kids. If they hadn't shown her getting like too involved with the covert and her being vulnerable in front of the armor,
Exactly.
I would have thought she would be on some evil shit, but I don't think so anymore.
It's not evil yet. It's fish out of water right now. She does not know how she fits in or how she belongs. I think deep down inside, the royalty, the bloodlines, the mythosaur, the Darksaber, eventually some shit is going to click within her. The armor is gassing her up. I don't know if I'm the only one that caught that, but like she's gassing her up on purpose. I think it's got a double hinged kind of thing here. Like, why is the armor now all of a sudden just okay with no helmets after years and years? And Bo-Katan was the cautionary tale that caused the curse of Mandalore. Like, that shit's not being forgotten. So there's a lot of things still.
Now
There's a lot of things still here.
Now keep up with me because I like
I'm not
where you're
convinced.
going. Does the armor doing that because she has some unfinished loyalty with Maul, aka Rook Cass? Or second, do you think that there's also theory that she's also Bo's unknown third sister? And if that's the case, then why would her not so nice covert sister be gassing her up like that?
Why is she keeping her mask on and not just saying I'm your sister?
Exactly. And
so
the third option is just some no-name Emily Swallow Mandalorian, which isn't as interesting. So you got the two. You know what I'm saying? I'm sticking with the Root Cast thing because it just makes more sense for her to try to like poison her mind like that. Because she was in league with Grief Karga, and Grief wasn't really a nice dude either. So,
and I think that's what the saber does. I think the saber does that to a point.
Like, I was legit thinking like she was evil, Paz was a dick, and this last episode turned me, man. I watched it like 4 times, and I'm telling like you follow the arc for Bo-Katan, and it's not so much like I was saying earlier. It's not so much they left her because she didn't have the saber. They left her because she couldn't find a purpose in her life anymore because she couldn't get that saber, and the covert is showing her she can have a purpose again. It doesn't necessarily.
But what's that purpose, bro? That purpose is to be
helping
a
her
leader.
people.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, like, it ain't gonna be that easy. I don't think.
Well, look, Paz and Bo both look at Din for approval in this last scene, right? Number one, he is basically the king. He is basically their leader. Both Paz and Bo-Katan, when she's talking, when Bo comes out without the helmet, Paz looks at Din, and Din's like, "It's cool." Right? Like there's a legit nod going on from the holder of the Darksaber. Now, to me it seems like if they're the armor's playing a game here also, right?
I think the armor wants to rule regardless.
I think the armor is playing the game, and in war, sometimes the enemy of my enemy, right? So Bo-Katan was not necessarily on the same side, right? She was, like Hawks was saying, she was the cautionary tale. She comes back to the covert, and I feel like Bo-Katan is feeling for something for the first time in her life, right? She's been the daughter, the princess. She's been royalty. She's been the leader, but she's never felt like people really, I don't want to say appreciated her, but had respect for her. It's more the title. This is the first time she's feeling respect as a warrior without Death Watch, right? This is the first time since the fall of the Empire where she's like, I could get down with these guys. All I got to do is not take this helmet off. That's all I got to do is not take this helmet off, and I'm down with these guys. Like, it's a lot like Boba. Boba had that moment with Din. Like, you can leave if you want, my guy. You don't have to stay here. He's like, nope. This is the way. I'm here till the end. So to me, it seems like the armor knows the end game. The end game is to go back home. That's the end game. Mandalore is the prize for the armor. Bo is a means to that end. The non-believers are the means to that end. They need soldiers. They need more numbers. You can't take on the Empire with 25 Mandalorians. You need that armada. You need all Mandalorians to come back, whether they are of the creed or of the old way. It doesn't matter to her now. She has to find a way to unify the clans. Otherwise, they're stuck on Navarro.
I also think like you're getting an arc for the armor because she didn't even believe that you can go back to Mandalore. Like the waters existed at first. Then she sees Din and Bo creep in. Bo saves that foundling for nothing. Nothing gained out of that but saving the foundling. Then Bo helps basically conceptualize this whole plan to go take Navarro. She's just right after she tells her about how she saw the mythosaur, where she didn't believe her at first, but then she's seeing like this girl. I thought that was just a chump that lost our planet. Just came in and drastically changed our circumstances in a couple weeks' time. Like I think
now all that
she's seen a
sounds
little
well
bit
and
of
fine, but you said one thing there. You said she gained nothing from saving the kid. What exactly?
Bo didn't gain anything. That's what I'm saying.
Well, no, she did.
She gained everything from saving that kid
by doing it. I think that's what you're saying is she had nothing to lose by going and saving that kid. Like saving that kid, if she didn't do it, it wouldn't have mattered. But the fact that she did it is that gained her everything. The fact that it was successful. If it would have,
they're not going to just let some nobody challenge for the Darksaber.
I mean,
I don't think we're going there. I'm telling you, it's.
I don't think.
Why not though?
I did think it
was easy,
but I don't think it's gonna happen.
I think it's gonna happen, but I think if anything, it happens at the end.
They didn't set that conflict up at the end of season 2 for nothing. Like we're gonna pick up on that battle for the Darksaber for sure.
Well, but
what if like Din is down, right? And this is like somebody else picks it up, and that's when she thinks she's gonna go for it. And then all of a sudden, Grogu just picks that bitch up. He's like,
well, I mean, look,
challenge me.
Look,
that's his first words.
Not him.
She could have taken him. She could have taken it on Mandalore. She could have left in that cage, cut his head off, took it back to the Mandalorians. Look, I defeated your guy. Checkmate. It's mine. Kneel. Bend the knee. She didn't do that. She gave it back to Din after that scene. After the mines, she gave it back to him. I think she knows she has. If she fights for it,
it's not how the Force works.
If she fights for it,
if she has the mythosaur at the end of this, like I think she will. It's not gonna. Who needs
if she fights for it, it has to be in front of everybody. Every Mandalorian has to see it. That's why I think if it happens at the end of the battle for Mandalore.
Right.
It can't happen before. Because she can't say, I won it, because she's already held it. No one will believe her. It has to happen in front of every Mandalorian that's left to solidify her rule.
Maybe the armor challenges Din first.
I don't think. Oh yeah, that's how.
Maybe it's a challenge after a challenge after a challenge, and it's just
Battle
like
Royale.
Fighting each other.
Oh shit. Oh yes.
Or like Din's wounded.
Oh, bro, like Tournament of Champions, Dragon Ball Z. Let's go.
Hell yeah.
Bring in Luke Skywalker. Why not?
You gotta remember too, all these Mandalorians just followed Din into Navarro.
Exactly.
Oh,
That's my
They're
point.
behind him already too.
100%.
It's crazy
Has-
if you're gonna challenge him.
Has solidified that when he made that speech and he says,
crazy.
"I will follow this dude anywhere. He saved my son. They saved my son." He is now the crowned king. I'm sorry, everybody. You can talk all you want.
Bring
Din
back
Djarin is the crowned king of
Bring back-
Mandalore at this point.
the Force ghost of Anakin to reclaim the dark saber.
Well,
Palpatine, his ghost on Exegol, he gonna be in this bitch, and then you bring back Maul, so we can have our
Tournament champions, baby.
Battle Royale. We need to find all the Dragon Balls to wish all of them back so we could have that.
Yes,
But look, I mean, look. It
all
ultimately,
the three worlds.
Din is the crowned king at this point.
Mythosaur absolutely trumps the Darksaber.
No,
I don't-
hard disagree.
Hard pass.
Hard, yes.
It is their symbol.
Darksaber.
Like
It
It's their
does.
symbol, but at the same
absolutely
time,
trumps it.
it's not. That's not the way. The way is that
Okay.
whoever
it's
rides the
both.
Mythosaur rules Mandalore, has right to the throne. No, that's not what they said when they were talking about Maul.
I'll
on
let
the
you
throne.
finish.
Maul on the throne was I beat your leader, I took his saber, I own the kingdom.
Mhm.
It wasn't I rode the Mythosaur, I own the kingdom. It was the Darksaber doesn't make power, it makes the ruler.
Okay, so let me rebut that. Made the ruler that became an apostate like that as soon as his helmet was off, right?
Mhm.
But just somebody seeing the Mythosaur and having an inkling of belief said, you know what, take your helmet off and you're the best to unite us. Let's
Well,
weigh that for a second.
It's but she's also talking about a new age, right? In all civilizations, the dawning of a new age means a lot. It can mean a lot of different things. The dawning of this new age is the age of
Well,
But you're
that's what the
not
plaque
hearing
says.
me.
That's what the plaque says.
This
No,
dude
that's
took
The
his helmet off.
Mythosaur will.
If the Darksaber was trumping the Mythosaur, it wouldn't matter that Din took his helmet off because he was holding the Darksaber. I'm in charge.
Right,
You shut
but-
your mouth.
but
But
to
she
a-
just had an inkling of seeing it. That it shows you. Take your helmet off. Go unite us. That's how much more powerful it is in the Darksaber.
I don't think it's about that. I think it's more it's not she doesn't so Bo tells her about the Mythosaur. She doesn't go, take your helmet off right now. You're the bridge.
Because she
No.
didn't believe her at first,
She
but
did
then
it-
she started to believe.
She did it. She did two things in that time between the time that she or one thing between the time she got that pauldron poured, got that new symbol, that ignet, and then the next thing is she leads the campaign to take Navarro. Din Djarin doesn't lead that campaign. Bo-Katan leads that campaign, and after the campaign is successful, that's when the armor is like, "Come with me. You've done us a service. You've given
Because
us."
she's
the home."
like, oh damn, they did choose you.
I don't
So
think
now when she sees her riding that
I don't think it's a joke.
camelback, she's gonna be like, oh damn.
Yeah, to me, it just seems like when she got accepted was when she saved the kid. You've done the highest honor of the creed. You saved a foundling, right? That was number one. That's what got her in the room, and they have the conversation about the Mythosaur. Then she leads a campaign to give Mandalorians a home, right? And not to make them stop hiding. And I think that's when she decides, you've seen the Mythosaur. The Mythosaur is the symbol of the dawning of a new age for Mandalore. And the new age of Mandalore is creeds be damned, Mandalore first. So she's putting aside the creed as a whole for all the coming Mandalorians. The people in her circle are still following the rules of the creed. But what she's saying is, we've lived like this for so long and it's got us nowhere. There he is. He's got something to nibble on. Attaboy. This is the new age. We need to evolve. If we don't evolve, we're going to die here. We're never going to take Mandalore if we force everybody to follow the creed. We need to reunite the clans. We need to reunite Mandalore. Bo-Katan is the only person that's respected on both sides of the aisle. If Din Djarin shows up to the Sasha Banks Mandalorians, they're not going to accept him because he's one of them, right? The religious cult. But Bo walks both sides of the line, and she can tell them, look, if you want to go home, this is how we go home. You don't have to keep your helmet on, but we need to stop fighting. And that's what it is. Bo-Katan is the end of the Civil War. That's what the armorer sees that's what I believe.
But
That Bo-Katan,
indirectly caused by being chosen by the mythosaur.
potentially, yes. But I don't think that she sees her as the next ruler. I think she sees her as
It's
symbol.
moot anyway, because it's Din Bo. Both can be running.
Well, I mean, like every king needs a queen.
I think Din is the knight and Bo is the princess and Boba Fett's the true king. But to your point about, her choosing her to get the people and not ruling, I say, well, damn it, who are you to fucking decide and bend the rules like that, you Mandalorian wearing bitch? Like, you don't.
All right. I'm bringing you guys back to reality again.
You
can go back and look at the
me.
helmet, so man, it's
you
not.
don't get to just say, hey, mythosaur, high and mighty your ass to unite everybody, and then 180 on me after I bring everybody back and tell me I don't.
She can though.
Yo, bring Sheev back in here. Does the mythosaur trump the Darksaber, Sheev?
Hell yeah.
I'm saying yes.
Hell yeah.
So I don't know where you're pulling. Like, you're losing me when you're pulling the whole chosen by the mythosaur thing. I'm not sure where that part of your theory is going to.
Says it in the last episode before this one. Like, what do you mean?
Okay, go ahead. I'll let you go ahead.
Wait. You're
gonna read the plaque to me?
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Clip.
Here, let's find it. Where is it?
Where's he going?
Literally, all they say.
I'm right here. Hold on.
He's like, I made my point, and I'm
leaving.
leaving.
Literally, all that has been said that I've heard about the mythosaur is that it will herald a new era of Mandalore.
Right.
So now that the armor has more or less convinced herself that the mythosaur is in existence, she's now a believer that this will herald a new era. That doesn't mean that the mythosaur is going to be a part of that. That's just a piece of the prophecy that is going to guarantee her now, like, this is our opportunity. This is like the seeing it.
For Game of Thrones fans, the Darksaber is like Balon's sword, and the mythosaur is a dragon.
When I hear Herald in the new ruler, that's exactly, it comes off to me how it fucking sounds. Like, this is who is gonna run Mandalore.
It's gonna herald a new age. So, I don't know.
Hold on, I'm gonna pull it up right now.
For me, the mythosaur is just like a representation that this prophecy that Mandalorians have believed in is true, and that Mandalore will rise again. It's like a.
You ready? You ready? Oh, we're gonna listen to it.
I want you to get the full tour. These mines date back to the age of the first Mandalore. According to ancient folklore, the mines were once a mythosaur lair. Mandalore the Great is said to have tamed the mythical beast.
Was it?
It is from these legends.
Before we get taken down.
Oh, yeah. I'm not concerned. We're over 2 hours. They can take us down.
The skull signet was adopted and became the symbol of our planet.
Symbol of the planet.
This is it.
So for her, at no time in that instance does it talk about heralding a new era. The armorer is the one that talks about the mythosaur, seeing the mythosaur, not riding, not owning, not any of that. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to pull it up.
Because it's a myth. None of them have ever seen it.
I could have swore she said that this word shows her.
None of them have ever seen it. So to all of them, it's a myth. But its existence means they can rise again. Okay. I don't think that the mythosaur necessarily trumps the Darksaber. I don't think it trumps the Darksaber. Not at all.
Do you respect my statement?
Okay, so this is where she talks about it.
I do. Remove your helmet.
I think it's before that, but I'm not sure.
No, it's not, because she talks about it. I thought she talked about it.
Strayed from the way. And it is not enough for a few to walk it. We must walk it together. This is the way. We must walk the way together. Oh, Mandalorians.
I mean, just there, it seems, it doesn't seem like.
Understand. I was taught.
That's the key phrase, because she's about to go into it. Oh, I haven't even pulled it up, huh? Okay, this is the key right here.
I think you can hear the audio.
No, yeah, but this is the key right here.
That the mythosaur existed only in legends. And yet, you saw it.
She's not saying it shows you, but she's basically saying
It is a sign that the next age is upon us.
It's a sign that the next age is upon us.
But you
That's it.
saw it is a pretty important line too.
You saw it, but not that it.
Nobody else saw
It's
it.
proof to the legend. That's it. It's just proof to the legend.
It's proof to the legend, because everybody thought it was a legend and it was fake. Even Bo-Katan, she says it in the hallway when she's walking in.
She's basically still telling like a Messiah's tale. Like, I saw this, or we're gonna, you know,
Right.
She said
but
it just to her, but now she believes her.
It doesn't make the person the leader. It just is.
I'm not saying it makes
I
it
don't
leader.
think
I'm just saying,
I-
like, if you do ride that trumps having it.
Well, I think this episode pretty much confirms that she always, like, even though it played off as her not believing her in episode 4, this one, by her telling her, yeah, you're the one, is like basically saying, yeah, I believed you, but I have my own way of like telling you. At least that's how it came across to me.
For me, the key word in both of these scenes, is a sign. Right? Both Bo on that plaque said the mythosaur as a sign and symbol of the planet. Right? And then you hear the armorer saying, I was taught that this was of legends, that this was fake, and that this was just a symbol of our people. You've seen it with your own eyes. And this is a sign of the new age. It has, and with a new age comes change. The armorer is willing to concede. The armorer is willing to concede the helmet removal.
Exactly.
To unite the people.
Exactly.
There has to be sacrifice with the dawning of a new age. And the dawning of the new age of Mandalore is, we have been fighting a civil war amongst ourselves forever.
You're giving the same speech from Rebels when they were talking about the Darksaber.
Exactly. That's exactly my point. It is a the Darksaber doesn't bring power, it's a symbol of power. It doesn't create power. It doesn't make a person. It's not an elixir that makes them stronger or faster. It doesn't give them force abilities. It is a symbol of the people. The same way the mythosaur is.
We're agreeing, and I'm just saying the mythosaur is a stronger symbol.
Maybe, but who's to say? Because
that's what I mean by it trumps the Darksaber.
But does it? Because both things have not been seen together. I mean, both things are a thing of legend. Whenever a Mandalorian sees the Darksaber, look what happened when the armorer saw it for the first time, and when Din comes down and he's wounded, she's literally like, "Whoa, what?" Like, she's taken back that the Darksaber is in her hands.
Well, I think the only way that could really confirms it is if you see Din raise the Darksaber against the mythosaur, and then the mythosaur is either shown being scared and kneeling. That's what's going to either show that, or the mythosaur is going to be like, bitch, fuck you, and then roar and then try to challenge him. So
much like the Rancor did.
Yeah.
Boba could ride the Rancor, but Din couldn't, right? It's the same. It could be the same thing with Bo. What I'm saying is, riding the mythosaur doesn't make you king. Owning the Darksaber, because Tar Vizsla,
only taming one of those things makes you Mandalore.
Right.
And
I mean,
they tame neither. So
they didn't give Tar Vizsla the crown of Mandalore because he rode a mythosaur. No,
but Bo will tame Din's Darksaber at some point. And then also, I think the mythosaur is going to come out. I retract my statement. She's gonna ride it. I think Mythosaur is gonna come out more like the Bendu and just like decide the battle.
Yes.
Like turn it
Be
in
roaming.
favor.
I would love that thing to just be
I
roaming.
feel like it's going to be a lot like
Like the Mythosaur comes out and just takes out a Star Destroyer. It's like flying a little too
like
low.
the Purgle.
Oh my
Be
god, dude,
amazing.
hell yeah.
Space whales. Yeah.
Imagine if it's that big.
It seems like
Oh, that's what she said.
it seems like it would. To me, I feel like the Mythosaur
She
is
only
going to
said
break
imagine.
out of the ground, much like the dragon and Gringotts in Harry Potter. Right, breaks out from beneath the caverns through the ground, and I agree with you. With the brush of its tail, it's so enormous that it can literally take out an entire battalion of Imperial troopers and first order gunships and transports and all that stuff. I think that's more likely to happen. But
and then out of nowhere, Mace Windu is gonna swoop down, chop its head off, and say, "I'm tired of these motherfucking snakes and this motherfucking blades."
Snakes and blades don't even exist in Star Wars. What the fuck?
It's not going away anytime soon.
never.
Mandalore must all come together. You have walked both worlds.
That's not Darth Maul horns.
No.
You are the one who can unite us.
We don't know that all armorers don't wear those same spikes.
I just think they're designed differently, man. They're not all going to be spiky.
Well, and look, for me, I feel like the armor isn't anybody. I feel like the armor was an armor on Mandalore, right? And after that, left.
Oh, you're from Mandalore? You really are nobody.
From the like she was from the foundry. She was talking about. I remember hearing 1,000 hammers. There wasn't one armorer that made all that armor. There was an entire group assigned to just making Mandalorian armor or helping people reforge their armor, right? Because you hear Sabine and you hear
each house probably had their own armor, and then there's armors of the capital and all that.
Right. So it seems like she might have been one of the ones at the main Mandalorian foundry because she knows all the legends. She's very well respected in her covert. It just seems like Rook Cass, I think there would be more beef at this point. I just think there would have been on some Mandalorian crime, some girl fights going on.
Aren't there like a bunch of other Mandalorian clans too, besides Bo and Din's?
Yes. Yeah, there's coverts all over the galaxy.
Like they believe in different religions other than the helmet on, helmet off thing, right?
No.
Or is it just, that's what I'm saying, is it just confined to those two ideologies, or are there more ideologies that
nope, it's just those two? I mean, Satine tried the peaceful way. She tried the way of not being a warrior, right? She was the first to try that way, and that's why it created this an even larger gap in the Civil War. But it seems like at this point, the only two ideologies left are on or off.
Oh,
like either you're part of the cult or you're not part of the cult. There is no other way.
Wear a hat or you don't, man.
Yeah, and Bo is the bridge between the two worlds, right? She is the only one that can say, look, they're not what we thought they were, to both groups of people. She's gained the respect of the covert. She's saved Paz Vizsla's son. She's led the Mandalorians out of the darkness. She led the Mandalorians to the light, to being able to thrive on Navarro and not have to come out of the covert one at a time, right? The kids can finally go out and play in the daylight. They're not hiding in a cave. These are all things.
Giant alligators anymore.
No more giant alligators, right? No more swooping dragons on Navarro. I guess they did have those birds that ate up Car Grievous and those bounty hunters.
Who was saying last time we were on here they're gonna say the creed and rock a helmet?
Oh, I wasn't saying all that. I was saying they're definitely gonna tame and ride those.
No, Dan was saying I think they were gonna wear Mandalorian.
Oh yeah, they were gonna do them
they're gonna dunk them under the water,
like the dragon armor.
You're gonna go get baptized like.
Now, last question of the day before we scoot out of here: will we hear Grogu? I read an article that Dave Filoni muttered something that said Grogu will talk this season. I feel like he's already talked. I feel like that little "this is the way" after leaving Mandalore were his first words. But supposedly Grogu is supposed to talk in this.
If he's actually going to go like fall out full sentences, God, I hope so.
I just hope he says this is the way, like clearly and concisely, because those are going to be his first words, no doubt.
Has to be. I think it has to be.
Helmet on Grogu. Oh my god.
Little ear slits.
Gonna piss people off.
It's gonna make everybody so mad, and I love it. All right, guys. Well, look, I mean, we're gonna come back on Wednesday. Tomorrow night, Hawks is supposed to do some Tuesday night Torkoff. So he's gonna be twerking over there on Torkoff.
Yes, we'll be doing something.
What do you guys, Dan? What do you got going on? Since you're not going to Celebration, we expected you to be on a plane today or tomorrow going to Celebration. So what do you got going on? I mean, you got funded, so you're tightening your belt budget.
Yep,
you got funded.
Focused on getting this series out there. We're going to make it as big as The Mandalorian, actually. That's where my focus is at. That's why towards the end of the month, we're going to have an investors like summit thing to get a bunch of folk from Georgia, investors in the city of Georgia to like come through and hear my pitch, and all goes well. They will help raise this current budget from 120,000 to possibly in the millions. And because there's a lot of stuff going on. Scotty, Don, Charlie, y'all see my post. Thank you, Kay. This series has a lot going on in it, not just bull riding, but also dealing with, setting out to do what you want to do in life, accomplishing your goals and doing whatever it takes to complete that. And there's a lot of action, a lot of craziness going on. So it's going to be a lot, seriously. So yeah, that's what.
Correct me if I'm wrong. It's based on stuff like from that area. There's some history there.
Yeah, it's like kind of based on the protagonist is a young modern bull rider who's the descendant of the actual first black bull rider, Bill Pickett, who actually created the sport of bull riding. So we're following.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Dante,
dude, I hope they get behind that. I wish you luck. That's a really cool idea.
Appreciate you. And it literally came about as I was, the Star Wars fan film we were making. That bull riding thing came out as we were creating that. So it's been a couple years in development, and now I'm at the spot that every filmmaker dreams of being in right now. So
there you go.
Stake barehanded before you go talk to investors.
Follow that, Nerd Mafia. What do you got going on?
I've been lazy as hell these past couple weeks. I want to make I keep trying to. I got like all these shorts ideas, and I just don't do them. But
I feel you.
I will soon.
Something kind of cool that I forgot about too is the Blue Beetle trailer dropped, and like a year ago, I did a video about the Blue Beetle. So, I mean, if you want to go check my channel out, that's on my community page. I reposted it. It's a good video.
A good video. I watched it this morning.
When you talked about the Beetlebot thing, you totally that's all I had in my head when you talked about that earlier. I'm like, Blue Beetle, what is he talking about right now?
No, I've been hyping this movie up for a while.
Yeah. I'm super hyped at it. George Lopez is in it. I'm big fan that the Latino community is finally getting some representation in the comic book era. So I'm super jazzed about watching a Latin American.
Couldn't have picked a better actor, man.
A Latino member of getting the spotlight, man. I mean, we saw it in Miss Marvel. We saw the that community getting their superhero, and I'm super pumped that the Latino community is finally going to have a comic book hero that they can, if Black Panther, I'm hoping that this does for the Latino community what Black Panther did for the Black community. I hope that they can unite around a hero that looks like them, right? And to me, that's the thing I'm most excited about that film. I thought the trailer was bitchin', but for me, just seeing that Mexican family and 6 people in one roof, like that just hit home to me, and I was just like, this is perfect. I can't wait to watch this movie. I'm pumped about it. So I know it seems like a trivial thing, but I like that everybody's being represented across the comic book era, and I think that's important to everybody. So yeah, dude, I'm pumped. We'll be back for Wednesday for sure. Anybody got any last thoughts?
I'm also pumped about Super Mario Brothers on Wednesday, even though it's definitely playing into just Italian stereotypes and not representing the community.
I've been missing. I've been missing the Matt
There it
Cave.
is.
I know the Matt Cave is going to see that movie this week, and I know a lot of people are super pumped. But
Pulling my kids out of school like an hour early.
attaboy. What's up, Dan? Hit it.
Hyped as hell for the new Transformers, John.
Yes, dude. There's so
Boy.
much good content coming out this summer, bro. I'm so excited.
New
TLC
show.
2. Every week there's a new awesome movie coming out.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, this summer.
Spider-Verse tomorrow, actually.
Yeah.
wait, what?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Across the Spider-Verse, new trailer tomorrow.
Oh, new trailer. I was like, that's not till June. What are you
Oh, yeah, no.
talking I have a video like based on a theory from the last movie that I'm dropping. That's what I've been working on. So.
Is it Roger Rabbit related? Do you know where I'm going with it?
No, it's the spider that bit him related.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I want a new live action Roger Rabbit. I'm just saying. I'm saying it out.
So the rumor was that Miles is going to be in Toby, Tom, Andrew's live action universe, and you'll see a live action Miles, the actor that plays him in that live action universe. So
I love all of that.
Cartoon Miles will cross over with the real life.
Yes.
Peters. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Oh, give me Cool World Spider-Verse.
Yes, give me all of that.
Hell
Cool.
yes.
Oh man, Cool World. Oh my God, what a callback!
Brad Pitt, baby.
Blast from the past.
All right, everybody. Everybody, have a great Monday. I hope to see you guys over on Hawks Stuff tomorrow night. Get down
We
there.
can talk
for
old
Tarkov.
films over here all day.
We're talking old stuff. Hawks goes
Fishing.
off on rants and raves during Tarkov. It's great to watch. We'll be back
New name.
Wednesday.
Hawk stuff.
Yeah, all of oh man, Hawks's channel is when he's gaming, he goes off on tangents. It's fantastic. I love it. He'll just start unless he's whispering because he's hiding from people.
Just one thing in chat, and it's like a half hour later. Where am I? What
Yeah,
happened?
yeah, but it's a blast to watch. We'll be back on Wednesday night to do This Is the Way Wednesdays after we've given everybody a good 12 hours or so to watch the episode and get caught up. Get over to the Matt Cave. He'll be also doing Way Back Wednesdays. So I'm not sure what the game is this week, but get over there and support the homies. Get down there and hit everybody up on YouTube. Everybody's got channels. Make sure to support all of the homies. And as always, don't forget to get your pet spayed neutered. Help control the pet population. Love your family and friends. Let them know you care because you never know when the last day might be it. And as always, everybody, may the force be with you. Have a great Monday night, and we will see you.